tell you that in being biracial, I do think it makes a difference that my mother is the black person versus it being my father, being that she is the nurturer and I'm a woman. So, for me, um, when people say that to me, I think that it's ridiculous when they're like, oh, well, you're biracial and you can't fight for us, or you should just be quiet because you're not like us, right? The truth is that race is a social construct in this country, which means that race has been defined by what society says it is. So therefore, they have put me in that box. So my plight is the same because that's the box that I have been placed in by society. And so my struggle is the same. I think a lot of people will say, or you get light skin privilege. I will tell you that the things I have endured in my life, being light skinned don't get me out of them. Being, half white doesn't get me out of them. It's not like I can call on something that will allow me to exhort some white privilege. Like it doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? So I have found that when it comes to, being biracial in the hood, you might get people who want to give you a little more seniority. All the men want to say, oh, you fine. You got the colorism thing. You have the colorism thing, but I find that when it comes to real racism and oppression, being biracial doesn't change anything for us. It really doesn't. We don't get any different treatment. And I do find that it's very disheartening in the black community when everybody is so focused on the fact sometimes that because I'm biracial, they can't hear what I say. Well, she shouldn't be speaking for us. But I find it really interesting that if I bring along a really educated, nice looking white lady and she say the same thing I say, they'll take it though. That's right. But I should just be quiet. So, that's not going to happen. But I do get that a lot. I find people love me until they hate me. And then as soon as they mad at me, all of a sudden I become a white person. So it just comes with the territory. It's stupid to me. It's division to me because if truth is truth and you out here doing the work and you're telling the truth is the truth no matter who says it, right? So.
Okay. I agree 100%. What is your stance on colorism? And do you feel like colorism also is used against light-skinned men and women?
I think that colorism is very much real. Absolutely, colorism is. But I think that people don't always look at it going both ways, right? We always say that colorism is if you lighter, you get treated much better at the end of the day. But if you're darker, you get treated worse. Now, I would say that in society, those things do hold to be true. But when we talk about the black community, right, as we encapsulate one another and we're in our own community, when it's outside, not outside of our community, I find that it kind of goes the other way. I remember growing up and I remember all the girls that weren't biracial telling me to shut my light skin ass up. They all wanted to jump me. They all wanted to fight. Like, seriously, like I get told all the time, like I'm not black enough. So in my community, like when the colorism comes in, you get light skinned people who get told that they're not black enough all the time because they're angry. I'm gonna just be real. They're angry at us because of the stigma that has been put on the black community and the colorism thing. So since we're closer to they think we get treated better, or we're closer to the light skinnedness or the color of the oppressor, then they get angry at us, and so it causes a bunch of division in the community. It really does, But it exists. But it goes both ways. And I think it hurts us as a black community both ways. It's not about just being dark, you get dismissed and treated a certain way. I think it causes fights and division amongst us more than anything else, regardless of outside of the black community. It hurts us a lot.
Okay. Does phenotype determine how militant you can be, in your opinion? Because a lot of people say, it's like we said from the beginning. How come all the light-skinned people talk so black? How come all the light-skinned, like you get a lot of militancy from the light-skinned ones? Maybe that's because the dark-skinned brothers ain't standing up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the question I have. Does phenotype determine how militant you can be, in your opinion?
No, I think that is my experience that makes me the way that I am. If people ask me why I am, it has nothing to do with, for me, right? Being biracial, or that's why I go any harder. If you ask me why I go as hard as I do, is because my brother was murdered in a cell by guards because he was a nigga, and they covered it up and nobody ever paid for it. Because my black son was caught up in the school to prison pipeline, and they took my son away from me with a very unjust sentence. So I fight because this fight is very real for me, And so I would say to anybody, if we say, why do they fight they fight so hard? if you care about the black community, why are you not fighting as hard? If you dark skinned, why aren't you fighting as hard as you are? I will throw this out there a little bit too. I don't know what people mean when they say why you fight so hard. I know that I do come really raw, but I'll be honest with you. When I get to speaking real crazy, black folks run away from me. So is that really talking black? Because when I start talking about burning this country down, when I start talking about if you tired of the police killing us, don't go kill them back. You'll do it to everybody else. Like at the end of the day, if you want real freedom, a revolution look like death and it smell like blood and it's not a beautiful thing. And when I get to talking like that, everybody be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So is that really me being too black or is that the white side of me that's crazy coming out? Because sometimes it take crazy to deal with crazy. See, white folks will run around here and hang your ass from a tree. White folks will do all kind of crazy things to you. But at the end of the day, y'all look at me like I'm crazy when I say, why don't we hang some white folks from trees? When is the sun gonna rise over George Zimmerman sitting in the park somewhere or some white officer that done something to somebody? See, when I talk like that, black folks tell me I'm crazy. So is that really talking too pro-black? Or is that really just a side of me that says we need to be as ruthless as them? And did I get it from my white DNA? I can't tell you. Maybe I did. Because white folks is crazy. I think I'm a little bit crazy, but I think it take crazy to fight crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I guess that's my opinion on that. I do what I do because of my experience. It never has anything to do. If I was full black and had been through what I've gone through, I would still go as hard as I do. You know what I'm saying? So, I thought I'd throw that little side note out there because when I get to talking real crazy, black folks be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We ain't ready for all that, but it's the white person that be like, fuck this shit. And they just go shoot up everybody in the store. Like, I think you need something crazy if you gonna get bodied with these crazy folks. And maybe that does come from my white side. I do not know, but I guess we will find out.
All right, I see we got a nut already in the chat room. He said her daddy is a white man. Well, I hate to break the news to you, but I would go as far as to say, damn, probably 80% of the people that's in here, daddy is a white man. Just because he got a black face don't mean he's not white. His mind has been conquered, right? His mind is white. So when you say her daddy is a white man, you need to look at your daddy. Was your daddy following Malcolm X or any of the revolutionaries out there, or was he afraid? Was he scared? Was he scared to stand up? How about you? Are you following any of the revolutionaries out there making a way? So if not, then goddamn, your mind has been conquered too. You have been conquered in the white mindset. See? You read the book, Transform. Black skin, white mass. Black skin, white mass. What's the difference? 100% on that right there. Um, Speaking of black and militant, tell us, have you ever had any interaction with NFAC? And if so, do you think that they are effective in getting a message across, especially speaking on black power?
Yes, I am familiar with NFAC, and I have met quite a few people in the NFAC. Me and Grandmaster Jay used to be friends at one point, and I would use the word friends lightly. He was about doing the movement. I saw what he was doing, and I wanted to, work with him in that. You have a militia, you have black people that have all of these guns, they're armed. I thought that it was a really great thing as far as building that for our community. What I will say, because I'm just going to keep it real, is that I don't believe that they accomplished much of anything. I don't. I don't think they accomplished nothing. I will say that that all plays to the ego of the leader that they had, because of his ego getting in the way. Sometimes he was very ridiculous in the things that he did. And then when he got in trouble, it seemed like he started acting really funny and trying to tear down everybody else around him, right? I found out some things behind the scenes about him, but it all comes back to me and playing in ego. And when you have black people that have never had any power, anything in their life of real substance, as soon as they get that moment of power, those things really go to their head. And so I think that he had a lot of that going on. But what I will say is that I think they could have done a lot more. And had they not been in that position, you can't have all these black men and black women and not structure them. Like, I'm glad that you want to show up at the Stone Mountain and you want to show, white supremacist KKK, this all, we taking the mountain back. Really, did you do anything though? It's cool that you want to stand up and you march, but Breonna Taylor still don't have no justice. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I would have much rather seen them use that ability to now structure policing in your community. They could have done us way more justice by building these small, whatever you want to call them, groups throughout the different states that they had in the cities that they had all of these people. And if you're gonna march around with guns in Louisville, why don't you just do that in your own community? Why don't you build some rapport with the community? Why don't you walk around at 1 o'clock in the morning or be out there early when the girls is going to the bus stop? Show your support and your protection for your community. Then you would have been doing something, if you ask me, that would have made a much greater difference. So I don't think it got to the point that it was structured that way. It would have been great to see it go that way. And I think all of that has everything to do with the leader that they had, period.
At one point, you was a heavy supporter of Jam Master Jay. Talk to us about what happened with that. What happened and what went wrong between you and Jam Master Jay?
So let me say again, I was a supporter. And anytime I'm out here working as the Black Agenda, if people don't know, the Black Agenda, that is actually our mission statement. So what we do is we find people that are already doing the work, because there's plenty of people in the community that don't get this. They don't have the platforms we have. They don't get the acknowledgement, but they out in the community doing the work every day and they're making a difference. So we like to give those people the notoriety and build with them. I don't believe in going and building 50,000 of the same organization. That doesn't make sense. That goes with egos, right? So whenever we see somebody doing the work, we're going to work with you if you want to work with us, right? And we're going to try and build and bring you more attention and get you whatever it is you need so that we can move forward. So that's kind of how it started. And I really respected what the NFAC was doing. I did not know Jay personally, but over a couple of phone calls and things of that nature, we met once, not too long before everything kind of fell apart. We had never really met in person. So as far as that, I didn't have any ins and outs of what was going on. I wasn't a part of NFAC, right? We just kept in communication as far as building things. Every time I would talk about, well, let's build, those conversations never came. It was like, okay, so when can I meet you? When can we get together? When can we start to build this, community policing? Because we were supposed to work together to do that. Those things never really came about. And then shortly after he got in trouble, everybody, maybe they know about that. If not, he got fed charges, which seemed to really be some trumped up stuff, but they were arresting everybody at that time. I think they even got a couple other militia leaders, on some stuff that they did months ago. They was just waiting and they pulled them all down with the election. So, he had some charges, but after those charges came out, he really started calling me every day heavy, like I was his right hand man, but I never was his right hand man. Let me make that clear, right? So we started talking every day. I did use my platform to try and help give him a voice because they said that he wasn't allowed to be, on social media. So I was going to give people updates on what was going on with him and things of that nature. But then he started to tear down everybody in his organization. He started coming to me and trying to tell me all of these different things about people while he was steady saying things about me. And I couldn't understand what his motive was for that. So what really set it off was when he came to me and he tried to tell me about a person that I know personally. He wanted me to believe that this person was an op, that they were working for the federal government. He didn't trust them at all, but this person was his second in command. And so, on top of that, I also had people come forward to me and say, look, Jay is trying to extort my business, right? Like they would donate to him. He said he don't take no donations, but people were giving him money. Let's be real, okay? And that's fine. I think he should have asked for donations because he's doing something for the community. All those people coming out their pocket to meet up at, some of that should have been eased up, at least for his team. His team should have been able to be, brought out to wherever they needed to be and not have to foot the cost for themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But there were people saying, we've supported him, we give him money. I have this Black-owned business. I've given him things. And he's like, well, I'll shout you out, but I need 30-40% of all of your business and everything that you make, and then I'll do it. And I'm like, man, I thought you was about the Black community. You steady screaming you don't take donations, but you trying to extort Black people out their business. Like, why don't you just tell them you want $100 and give them a shout out? Why they got to give you so much of all of their money when they trying to make it too? So that put a bad taste in my mouth. Some of these people came forward. And again, all the stuff he was trying to say about people, I took it for a grain of salt because I didn't know these people. But when he spoke to me about somebody I knew, and now when people say to me, it's that controversy, they say, well, how well did you know this person? Well, I know them.
What the fuck happened? What happened?
Get her back in here. I know I gotta get the mouse off of this. That's what's going on. My bad, y'all. My bad.
The fuck?
Let's get it back.
Those things never really came about. And then shortly after he got in trouble, everybody, maybe they know about that. If not, he got fed charges, which seemed to really be some trumped up stuff, but they were arresting everybody at that time. I think they even got a couple other militia leaders, on some stuff that they did months ago. They was just waiting and they pulled them all down with the election. So, he had some charges, but after those charges came out, he really started calling me every day heavy, like I was his right hand man, but I never was his right hand man. Let me make that clear, right? So we started talking every day. I did use my platform to try and help give him a voice because they said that he wasn't allowed to be, on social media. So I was going to give people updates on what was going on with him and things of that nature. But then he started to tear down everybody in his organization. He started coming to me and trying to tell me all of these different things about people while he was steady saying things about me. And I couldn't understand what his motive was for that. So what really set it off was when he came to me and he tried to tell me about a person that I know personally. He wanted me to believe that this person was an op, that they were working for the federal government. He didn't trust him at all, but this person was his second in command. And so, on top of that, I also had people come forward to me and say, look, Jay is trying to like extort my business, right? Like they would donate to him. He said he don't take no donations, but people were giving him money. Let's be real, okay? And that's fine. I think he should have asked for donations because he's doing something for the community. All those people coming out their pocket to meet up at, some of that should have been eased up, at least for his team. His team should have been able to be, brought out to wherever they needed to be and not have to foot the cost for themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But there were people saying, we've supported him, we give him money. I have this black-owned business. I've given him things. And he's like, well, I'll shout you out, but I need 30, 40% of all of your business and everything that you make, and then I'll do it. And I'm like, man, I thought you was about the black community. You steady screaming you don't take donations, but you trying to extort black people out their business. Like, why don't you just tell them you want $100 and give them a shout out? Why they got to give you so much of all of their money when they trying to make it too? So that put a bad taste in my mouth. Some of these people came forward. And again, all the stuff he was trying to say about people, I took it for a grain of salt because I didn't know these people. But when he spoke to me about somebody I knew, and now when people say to me, it's that controversy, they say, well, how well did you know this person? Well, I know their mother. I know their father. Unlike everybody else that says, who are these ops in the community? What's their background? Where they from? Do you really know about them? Well, yes, I've sat with this man's mother. I know his son. I know his ex-wife. Like, I know his family. So I knew that what you were saying wasn't right. So we had a conversation with him. People always say, let me make this clear. They're like, yo, Mechee, why you always put everything out in the public? We can't ever handle nothing behind closed doors. So we actually did handle it behind closed doors. We called Grandmaster Jay on the phone and it was like, yo, so you out here telling people that I'm an op and that I'm a snitch and you don't trust me? That's kind of dangerous, Jay. Like, I was just with you the other day. Like, what is this really about, right? And he didn't know that I was in the room. So he started to say that I was a liar and he never said those things and he doesn't know why I would be lying on him. So after we let him put his foot in his mouth, I said to him, well, Jay, I'm here. And you did say all of those things. Are you saying I didn't? You didn't say them to me. So then he tried to backtrack as though he didn't say it. So after we got off that phone call, our understanding was, look, you just seem to be a little shady. So we just gonna part ways. Like, you out here doing this and that to people. Like, I don't really care to mess with somebody finding out all the things I'm finding out about you. Like, I know you're in a tough spot, but you like out here bugging. And the other guy said, look, if you feel I'm an op, I'm going to step down. I'm not going to be your second in command anymore, and I'm done. We thought that it was over. The next morning, he put out a message to the whole militia. And instead of saying that this man stepped down, he told the whole militia that he was an op and that he removed him for everybody's safety. Now, this is a man who has told all of these people this man is a snitch and an op and lied on him. That's dangerous, right? Where I come from in the streets, you don't call people snitches and ops and you don't know what you're talking about and then go tell everybody that. You could put this person at risk. And you're telling this to a bunch of people who carry guns and listen to every word that you say. And you done told this man that has been your right hand, that has been around him for months. They supposed to think that this man is an op working for the government, which was so far from the truth, right? So for me, that was the last straw because I didn't understand if you're supposed to be out here trying to help your people, why you would throw somebody under the bus like that. Jay could have just went away and said, look, K. Foster stepped down. There's a whole lot going on with my arrest, blah, 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 blah. And it could have been that. He didn't have to turn around and then double down and lie and then put a notice out to watch out for this brother because he was trying to save face. And for somebody who would throw their people under the bus like that just to seem like you right, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. And I'm not messing with nobody that does that, right? And so then shortly after that, I also heard that he was telling people, I had people harassing me saying that I collected $8,000 in donations and I never gave him his money. I kept it on the back end. So let's clear up that story.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Yeah, that's powerful. We're gonna do a lot of clearing up today. There was this dude on the internet. He's a Moor, and he's coming out calling himself exposing Mechee X, and he is saying certain things about you. He go by the name of Taharka Bey. Have you ever heard of Taharka Bey? What's going on with you and Taharka Bey? Talk to the people. Let the people know what's going on.
Let me say this first, okay? So Taharka Bey wants people to believe I'm stealing money too. So see, this is the problem that I have. This is, like I said, you don't get to go around telling these lies on me. So he wants people to believe I'm stealing money too. But let me clearly say about the Grandmaster Jay situation, nobody ever gave me a bunch of money for him. I sent them to his GoFundMe. I did have people give me about $1,200 that I did not ask them to send me, saying this is for Jay. So I offered to give Grandmaster Jay $5,000 of my own money to support his legal issues, right? When all those things happened, I did not give him my money. I did tell people that donated to him if they wanted a refund because they only donated to him because of me, right? I would give them their money back. So I did have quite a few people ask me for their money back. I sent it back, and the remaining balance I put in his GoFundMe account. So let's be clear about that. There was never no $8,000 that anybody gave me to give to Grandmaster Jay that I kept. Now, Taharka ain't nothing but a clout chaser who need to be choked with that tassel that's on his hat, okay? He always trying to clout chase and talk about everybody. I haven't really paid this man any attention. I know that back when all of the Grandmaster Jay stuff happened, he called himself exposing Grandmaster Jay. Jay is an agent, all of this stuff he kept saying. So because me and Jay were cool, he continued to make videos about me saying that I need to answer to the Black community and explain all of these things about Jay because he's a fraud. You know, when me and Jay fell out, he wanted me to explain myself to him. First of all, I don't know why he think I need to explain myself to him. I don't know who you is. Last time I checked, you're not my mama, you're not my daddy. But he kept making videos. When he could not get my attention, then he decided to make a video talking about I got roaches on my wall. Like he just constantly puts my name in videos. So recently, K Foss, the guy who Grandmaster Jay called a snitch, right? His ex-girlfriend, who was disgruntled, decided to go on Taharka Bey's show. So Taharka is excited that he think he got something on Mechee now, that he could drag me into some shit, right? And she sat up on his show and she told everybody that I stole $10,000 of the Black Agenda money and that everybody in the community should know about me because I am taking donations from the people and I'm giving it to her ex to buy him, apparently, because I need to buy men. And she claimed that I forged paperwork and just a bunch of other stuff and then a bunch of messiness about their relationship. So Taharka is charging people $10 to get on a website where he claims he's going to put up receipts that all of this is true. He don't have no receipts. I want to say on a serious level that he's a problem to the Black community. So I don't know if you want to ask me something else before I lead into that, but he is being sued. I will say that, but he is a problem for the Black community. It's people like him who want to get views, who want to cash in on nonsense. Like people sign up for $10 for your site to see receipts on the fact that Mechee is a thief and I've been stealing from the people. You don't have those receipts, but you collecting these people money.
Now, hold on. Let me get this. Let me say something. What you're saying? You're saying he's claiming that he got receipts on you, but he want the people to pay him to see the receipts on you? Is that what you're saying? Now, you know, it's a circus over there. It's always been a circus over there with Taharka. You see how he rap and he go crazy. I don't know if he's the clown in the middle or something, but it's a circus over there. You know, Morris World TV, it's a circus.
Absolutely. That's really all it is. But that's what I'm saying. If you're so about the community, shouldn't you just expose me?
Right.
Just expose me. Now I'm taking money from the people, but you charging people $10. And the crazy thing is you don't have no receipts.
That's crazy.
You don't have any receipts. So he did do a show the other day. And he calls himself Showing Receipts. So let's tell some real raw there, right? He put up a bank statement from the person I supposedly gave $10,000 to. The bank statement just shows this man's transactions. And let's be clear, he got that bank statement from a woman who is jaded that does PPP loans for people. And he gave her that information so she could file a PPP loan. So you gave that man's personal information to Taharka. You do know these things are against the law. Like, y'all crazy over there accusing people of crimes when you breaking the law left and right. So this is what he puts up on his show. But nowhere in there did that bank statement show that I gave him that money or that it came from the Black Agenda or anything else. But y'all so stupid. For those that was in his chat, there were people over there like, oh, ooh, he done hit you with the receipts. I got people on Instagram this morning talk about he's showing $10,000 bank statements. Sir, what does that have to do with me? Nothing on that bank statement pointed towards Mechee stealing any money from anybody. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't have these receipts. And I think to make such heavy accusations against people, you should have those receipts or be quiet. And this is what I want to say. You can say whatever you want about me because I understand being in the position I'm in, that comes with the territory. But I draw the line when you start trying to tell people that you have evidence and proof and you know for a fact that I am swindling the community out of money. And the most ridiculous thing is that anybody that would want to listen to Taharka, all they got to do is pay attention to Mechee, because anybody that's been following me will tell you, Sanetta, I have not collected any money for the Black Agenda Tour in over a year. When Corona hit, we gave everybody a refund and we canceled because we didn't know what the year was going to be like, right? I didn't Tariq Nasheed them and keep their money and just make everybody show up with masks and be, 7 feet apart from each other. I gave them their money back. People might need their money. They losing jobs. And we haven't collected anything because the Black Agenda ain't done nothing. So, that alone, if people have been paying attention to me, they should know there's not anybody that can even say they've given me money to be stealing from them. So this man, to me, he's dangerous. He's in the Black community. He's giving his opinion. He's stating it as fact. He swear he got receipts on people. He's always outing people. Like, can I be petty on your show? Like, I'm not trying to dox this man, although he's trying to make up information about me. But you got charges for beating women and doing all kind of jail time, brother. I'm going to need you to check yourself. Stop throwing stones at your glass house. Because his stuff is not all together at all. I don't care what he's done. I just want you to leave me alone, bruh. And just so he understands it to anybody else moving forward, I don't care if you think I'm petty. I'm calling on the white man because that's his brother. Oh, you calling the white man on me? Well, my turn is actually black, so he's not the white man. But yeah, I'm going to sue y'all for slander. Anybody ever think you're going to talk about me in a way that you're going to accuse me of crime? You're going to ever say that I've stolen money from the people? You're going to ever accuse me of these things? Those things I will sue you for. They are called slander. So this is where we moving forward when it comes to Mr. Taharka Bey. He gonna go expose somebody else, but he gonna learn today that I was the wrong one to mess with.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, he should know better, because him being a Moor, he's supposed to know about these laws and stuff like that. That's what they all deal with. So you actually taking him to the court? You suing him?
Yes, I contacted my attorney.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Some people, right, they need to be made an example of. And I'm not just specifically talking about Taharka, but I'm saying with the slander that they be doing on this YouTube stuff, they need their ass to be sued, and somebody need to be made an example of. And I guarantee you, all of this stuff will stop. All the slander that people do will stop when somebody really be made an example of and they see that this is no joke. What are your take on that?
Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. Like that's my point to everybody. I'm going to make an example out of Taharka. And I want it to be known too, is that my name is trademarked. Like if y'all going to play this YouTube game, either play it in the big leagues or either stay in the basement with the little dogs. But at the end of the day, you will not continue to put my name in video. Now, don't get me wrong. I meet you like a good fight, right? So you can continue to talk about it. Like, I'm not going to shut your shit down if you just, I don't mind people running their mouth. Like, I talk tough. If you want to talk tough, it's all good. But there's a certain line that you're not going to cross with me. And when you cross that line, yes, I will have your video shut the fuck down if my name is in your title in the middle of you running your mouth. Right? I will shut you down. So be mindful of what you're saying about me in your videos. And if you're going to accuse me of crimes and say heavy stuff like that, yeah, I'm going to shut your video down. And if you continue to say things like that about me, I'm going to sue you too. See, some of y'all got to go find a lawyer. I got a lawyer on call. All I got to do is push a button, right? And give him a phone call. And so I will sue as many people as I need to sue this year. Y'all can play that game if you want to. And trust and believe me, when I get my settlement, I don't care how broke you is, bro. I'm coming just like the white man. If that's what you want to say, I will be garnishing your wages, right? I will be taking your tax returns. I'm not playing with you. you're going to learn not to say those things you say about me. You can say whatever you want, but you ain't going to call me no thief. You ain't going to say I'm stealing from the people. So I pride myself on that. Like I might cuss and I might slap you for the right reason, but I don't steal from the people and I stand on my integrity. The Black agenda don't even make no money off of it. My brother Q go with us. He'll testify to that. Dr. Shauna go with us. Like we just make enough money to pay for it so we don't got to come out of our pockets. But once it's paid for, right? We make no money. We open the door to donations just so we can make it to the next city. We do not make money off of trying to give our people the solutions because it's way too many ways for us to capitalize that we don't have to do that off the solutions. I'm not selling nobody the answer to freedom, right? And I pride myself on that. So what you would not do is touch that. You can say whatever else you want about me, but you're not going to do that, right?
Okay. What is your stance or your take on Kevin Samuels?
No, well, hold on.
Women don't love Kevin Samuels. Some women love him, but I hear sisters say, "Yo, I don't like Kevin."
They went in on me for nothing on Instagram. Let me see something. Let me say this about the people who follow Kevin. The men that follow him, I just like something's wrong with them. And that's not attributed to Kevin. I just want to say this. Like, I have never in my life seen so many people come and attack me in the way that they have. I put men, no women. I put a video up on Instagram of Kevin Samuels, right? And it was a dude like imitating his intro. It was funny. It was a dude. He was just snapping and clapping and he was lighting his candle like he looked just like Kevin too. He was just
family, real quick. You have the green light. You have the green light to put them on timeout once or twice. If they keep on with the disrespect, Mechee, in my chat, y'all already know how I do. Block them, get them out of here. Because I already opened up the floodgates. So block them, they'll be blocked for another year until I open it up again and let them out. So anybody disrespecting my guests, get them out of here, block them. Block their ass. Block these coons, block these coons. First, you can hit them with a warning. The warning is put them on timeout. But if they go in here disrespecting my guests or Mechee X, block their ass. Get them up out of here. We don't need that negative energy. Get them out of here.
Imitating him. He wasn't, disregarding him. He was just imitating him. It was funny because the skit was dead on. I was dying laughing. You know the thing you find on Instagram, you watch it 20 times because you can't help it. It's funny as hell. So I post this and I say to the women, I don't know why you're so upset with Kevin Samuels. If you're not checking for a man like this, which I'm not because he's doing too much snapping and clapping for me, I don't really care what he got to say. Do you know they all came in the chat and was like, you ain't got no husband. You ain't got a high value man. You just a low budget bitch. You just mad because don't nobody love you. I'm like, whoa, I ain't even say nothing about this man. I just laughed at a video that imitated his intro, right? And it was spot on. So then I made a video addressing them. And they went in on me and was like, oh, it's videos on YouTube right now saying I'm going in on Kevin. So let me be clear about Kevin and how I feel about Kevin Samuels. I want to say this first. He do be stealing all the Tommy shit. I just want to throw that out there. Let me tell you, Tommy been around for a long time, and Kevin used to call into his show and everything else. And I've watched Kevin actually give stories and use the same words and lines that belong to Tommy. Like, make him mad, that's Tommy's song. You can't even say that shit and not say you ain't get it from him. But that's another story, but let me throw that out there. But regardless, Kevin done took what he could do and he done flipped it in some shit that's working really well for him, right? I think that Kevin Samuels is very ridiculous in his rating of women. When he asked women how old they are, how many kids they have, he asked them how much they weigh. I heard him tell a woman that at her height, she was like 5'5". He told her 5'6". He told her she should be 125 pounds. Where I come from, that's a crackhead. I have a child that is almost 125 pounds and he's a little kid. So at the end of the day, I think that he can be a bit ridiculous on rating women. But when we decide to rate him, then it's a problem because I can rate him. And my rating is he wears his scarves too tight around his neck. He is too metrosexual for me. I'm not saying the man is gay, but I don't like a man that snap and clap that much. He's a bit on the feminine side. And that's okay. I'm not saying he's gay. He's metrosexual, but I don't think that shit is cute, right? So for me, I just like he can rate us, we can rate him. I think that his rhetoric about a high value man and how high value men that make all of this money over 6 figures, that they should be able to do what they want. And he talks about the type of women that they need. They need to be a certain size. And that high value men don't cheat. They have choices, meaning because you have so much money, you can do what you want. Your wife shouldn't question you. I laugh at that scenario because to me it sounds like a whole bunch of bad bitches who just with you for your money, and that's why she end up fucking the pool boy when you're not home. Like if that's what you think a relationship is, have that shit. But ultimately, I don't need any relationship advice from Kevin Samuels. So what I want to say to black women is this: if you are not trying to find a man like Kevin, if you're not interested in the things that he's saying, if you're not trying to be that bad bitch with this high value man, stop being so upset about what he says. Let the man have his opinion. Let him say what he want to say. We let Cynthia G go in on the brothers. We don't watch Tommy go in on the sisters for years. Don't get so riled up over a man if you're not checking for him. Why you so mad at Kevin? Just let him do what he do. Let him talk that mess. Let him expose all of the men that feel they're entitled to something just because you're a man, even though you probably, a bum. You ain't got shit going on in your life. But listening to Kevin make these motherfuckers feel like they big and tall. Let them have that. I'm not never upset about a man giving his opinion when I don't want him. And I don't want any of the men that relate to what he's saying. I don't have a problem in my dating life. So I'm going to need sisters to just not let this man get you so riled up. That's my opinion. Why care? Do you want Kevin? No. Do you want a man like Kevin? No. So why the fuck do you even watch him? Let him entertain you. Other than that, stop letting him get in your emotions so much. And Kevin is winning because we're letting him. Everybody's debating. He living in everybody's head. All the women is upset. All the brothers is debating whether he right or not. Just let that man do his thing. If it don't pertain to you, if it don't apply, let that shit fly. What you mad for? And that's really my opinion. Let Kevin do his thing.
Who is Jay Morrison? And not only who is Jay Morrison, but what is your issue with Jay Morrison? I heard you mention his name, but I didn't watch the whole thing. But I just hear you mention him, and you goes in. So let the people know who is Jay Morrison and what is your issue with him.
So, Jay Morrison is the founder of the Tulsa, Oklahoma Real Estate Fund. Collected like $13 million, okay, from the people. My issue with Jay is not a personal issue. It is the issue of that he played and swindled the whole Black community. So, of course, Dr. Watkins and some of these other shysters support this brother. And, they like to rub shoulders with people who seem like they big. So what really happened for me with Jay Morrison was I met Tony the Closer. I don't know if you know who that is. But basically, he went into business with this man trying to do something together. He found out like he was a shyster. He didn't really have the money. He said he taking pictures in front of other people's mansions like he lived there, and he don't. And so they got into a situation, and it opened the door where a lot of victims came forward and was like, look, I paid like all my life savings to get a consultation with him. And when I say all your life savings, like he charging $10,000, all kind of money, and people are not getting the mentorship that they were supposed to get from him. So we did Tony orchestrated a protest at the Black House, which is in Atlanta, which is one of the buildings or the only building that he bought with the $13 million he had. And so we did a protest out there, and a lot of the victims showed up. I got to meet a lot of people face to face that day. I heard every story from people who said I gave him a whole bunch of money from my life savings that is hurting me right now, right? And then I found, let me tell you some of the victims that were the most amazing to me in all of this. It was brothers in the hood, right, who live in that street life, and they thought they could get up out of the street life by messing with Jay Morrison. He making them promises to teach them how to do stuff. So you can follow me. We from the streets, right? So they done took their street life and they didn't invest in everything they made in that street life and gave it to him. And he ran off with it. People say, why you don't take him to court? Because you can't take him to court. And now he want to live in gated communities, so can't nobody get to his ass. So you out here supposed to be for the community, and brothers that say, look, I want to get off the streets, living the way that I live and make some money the right way. You take everything they have and you run off on these brothers. There's an NFL. There's so many people that have come forward. That's all I got to say. If you just go look, so many people have come forward and said that he owes them money. The NFL put out a newsletter and told everybody to stay away from Jay because he scammed a couple NFL players out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like the receipts are really there, right? And so my thing was I got involved just because I went to the protest. And after that, we started talking about it. And then, of course, I got sucked into it because I guess Jay and his wife got mad at me because I was covering the protest. His wife is supposed to be a actress and be a B-list actress or whatever the fuck. She called me on the phone. She got my number from Dr. Watkins. Thanks for giving my number out, nigga. Next time ask. Right? You don't answer the phone for me. Don't get nobody else my phone number. So she calls me up and she trying to woo me and get me to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So the bottom line is he got a whole lot of victims. He had a lot of employees that left him too, and they gave videos and showed text messages that Jay doesn't know what he's teaching, that they would actually teach him and give him notes. People who are really in real estate before he would go do his lives or do his videos. So he doesn't really know what he's doing. When you look at the portfolio, it lost money. He doesn't have any property. He didn't buy any of those things. And it shows a whole lot of fees. All of the public papers have been put out there. So a lot of those fees, what? Oh, a lot of the money went to other businesses and fees that were still his businesses, but for marketing and this and that, but those things are still going in his pocket. Like all of this stuff has been documented. So he out here once again, it's just another person swindling the Black community, right? Out of their money. And the thing that bothers me the most is that we gave this man, I didn't, but Black people gave him $13 million. I hear Black people all the time say we don't have money. There's so much stuff that we could be building in our community. I watch my brother Q every day on nowhere near 13 million, not even a million, not even a half a million, not even 100,000. I watch what he produces and what he does for these children to build a school in our community. Do you know what we could do with 13 million? But do you know we never gonna collect 13 million again because he has scarred the Black community. They will not trust in the next person that comes along, even if they intend to do right. And that's my issue with Jay Morris.
Talk to me about Dr. Umar. How do you feel about Dr. Umar? And why do you think there's no school yet? Or do you think there will ever be a school?
Okay. I want to say this about Dr. Umar. I don't believe Dr. Umar Johnson is a scammer. I don't believe that he got in it to scam the people. My opinion is that he had a very big dream.
I agree.
He bit off more than he could chew.
I said that already.
That's what I see when I see Umar. Yeah, and I think that his ego got in the way because what happened was he was so stuck on his vision, and I don't think he allows people to come in. And sometimes when it's your vision, you can't trust people. They will try to tell you shit. I kind of understand that a little bit. But I feel like what happened was his ego wouldn't let him come down in his vision. He was like, yo, I'm building this school, King Kong consciousness. He was shooting for the moon, and he wasn't going to settle for less because if he did, I think in his mind, he thinks he would have failed. But in that, you failed all the way. And what I mean by that is he wouldn't come down on his vision enough to say, the money I do have, let me buy some of these old like churches and start small. Let me start a school over here. Let's buy this old church building that's in one of these communities that's big, got Sunday school rooms, and let's start off, even if I can only have 20 kids in my school for right now. You know what I'm saying? The community would have seen results, and we would have continued to support that, and he could have grown to his bigger vision. I think because he wanted the bigger vision right off the bat, and he didn't want to work in a smaller way to get it. And then I think his ego wouldn't allow him to say, wait, this is too big. Let me go back a couple steps and start smaller and build bigger. His ego wouldn't let him do that. So now he's wasted so much money. And even in getting the school, he doesn't have enough to take care of the taxes or get it renovated. So now you just got a shell of something that he's probably going to lose right back due to taxes and stuff that really accomplished nothing. And then I want to say that I think he is stressed out. And from a psychological point of view, stress is a trigger. You can have mental issues and it not show up until later, until something stress you out. Yeah. And for him, shut the hell up. And for him, he said scammer. I'm saying, and for him to be there, I think he's realized ultimately he failed. And now he's stressing. And now he be bugging. He be doing the weirdest shit. I'm like, oh my, get it together. 1 minute you say some crazy shit. Next minute you in your right mind. I think the brother is stressed, and I think he's probably highly depressed. I mean, and of course, this is my armchair diagnosis. I'm just saying, I don't see him as a scammer. I see a whole lot of facets that came with it. And I think his biggest problem was his pride. His ego got in the way. That's what I think about Umar. Yes. But I don't think we ever gonna see no school, no.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you on that. Oh man, you stated several times that Dr. Boyce Watkins stole from you. Did he really take your name and website or whatever?
Or whatever. Whatever. Dr. Watkins, I will fight you when I see you. Let me start my commentary with that. Okay? Anyway, no, he did. He stole my domain name. So a domain name is your www.mecheex.com, right? So that's why my website is therealmecheex.com. So I was working with him. We were supposed to be, friends. We're supposed to be working together. He nonchalantly calls me out of the blue to have this conversation. Like, hey, what's going on, Mechee? And he wants to talk. And he's like, so what are your plans for the future? When he sees things are kind of blowing up, I guess looking back, it's like he was trying to see how much of me he could take for himself to build his stuff up and how much I was trying to do on my own. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, you know why I do spoken word, because that's actually where the name Mechee X comes from. People think that I got the X to be pro-black. Like, that's a stage name. And it was really given to me by people in the crowd. It wasn't something I picked myself. And so I do spoken word. Well, my name is Mechee and then my poetry is all revolutionary, right? And so I was doing an open mic show for a guy, and he told him to introduce me as Mechee X. I didn't know he told him that. He's in the nation. He like, call her X. And when he said that, and they introduced me that way, it stuck. And so the audience gave me a standing ovation. They was like, yo, this is Mechee X. So then I kept getting calls from people who kept asking me to do a show, a spoken word show, and all the flyers had Mechee X on it. So literally, I did not pick that name. It was actually given to me. So I'm talking to Dr. Watkins. He like, what you plan on doing with yourself? And I'm like, I do my spoken word. I plan on, putting up me a website and, put my videos up there, doing some stuff for my spoken words, having some events. I'm working on writing this book. So I'm telling him everything that I plan on doing and how I'm going to, get my website going, right? So a week later, I go to set up my website. And I go to buy MecheeX.com and it says the domain is taken. And I'm like, there's not another person named Mechee X. There's not. And even the way I spell my name, if you Google it now, all that's going to come up is me. Nobody spells their name Mechee. They always spell it with the I's and the two E's in the beginning. Nobody spells it the way I do. So you can find out who owns the domain. And lo and behold, Dr. Watkins bought it.
Did you ever bring that out and show the people?
I did. And I showed people text messages. And had I known you was gonna ask me tonight, I would have pulled them up. You know what I'm saying? But I showed him text messages where I was like, yo, you took my domain, bro. And he was like, oh, I forgot. He was like, I didn't want nobody to buy your domain and then later you not be able to do nothing with it. He was like, I really did that to protect you. And I must have forgot I did it. So right after I said I was going to buy it, you ran off and bought it, and then you forgot to tell me you bought it. He also bought Vicky Diller's at the same time, too, but she just didn't care that he bought it because, she wants to ride on his platform. But he actually bought both of ours because we were the biggest people rising on his platform. After I did leave his platform, I would tell people he stole my domain. And when you would type it in, it would go straight to Fly Nubian Queen. So people know that I'm not lying. He still has it to this very day, but it's okay. He has a domain, but he can't do nothing with it because my name is trademark now. So his domain don't trump no trademark. You know what I'm saying? So he can't never do nothing with it. And it's fine if you want to keep paying for it every time it expires. But the bigger problem with Dr. Watkins is he steals people's ideas. He will take your work and act as though it's his. He does a lot of that to people. And that's why he's being sued by a couple of people. Plenty of women have come out the woodworks for the things that he does. So he steals people's intellectual property as well as those things. And he owes a lot of women money. He doesn't owe me money, but there are plenty of women he does owe money to. So yeah, Dr. Watkins is a thief. He probably stole them teeth he got in his mouth.
Okay. So now we up to now what's up with you and Vicky Dillard? What's up with you and Vicky Dillard? Fly Nubian Queen. Y'all got beef too now or what, man?
We got beef. Oh, what's beef? Beef is when you roll no less than 30 deep. Like, beef is when I see you, guaranteed to be in I see you. One more time. Right. Show love is the Brooklyn way. Vicky has a lot to do with the Dr. Watkins thing because I knew Vicky personally. Like, we both were living in Colorado before Dr. Watkins ever came along. I used to give the chicks ride from the bus stop. We've been at events together in the community. She had a little radio station. And when I first went viral with the Bill Cosby video that made Dr. Watkins come and talk to me, Vicky asked me if I would come on her radio station. So I trying to help her out to get views and things of that nature. And so when I got on with Fly Nubian Queen, Dr. Watkins was like, we're looking for new women. 90% of the women on Fly Nubian Queen I brought there. Jade, Bianca was there, Jice that was there, and Vicky as well. And so when he said he was looking for new people, I automatically was like, yo, I'm going to go get Vicky Dillard because Vicky would preach the Bible at 5:00 every morning on Facebook and only like 3 people would be watching, but she was there faithfully, right? And I was like, Dr. Watkins, she's faithful.
Oh, she was believing in it?
Oh yeah, she was called her Power Hour or something, and she was preaching Christianity. She was on the right. She was preaching that Christianity, and I'm like, nobody watching her. But I told him, because in understanding marketing, like I'm like, there is a religious group that will want to hear her. There's a lot of religious people, like, Fly Nubian Queen is supposed to be about different queens that bring different aspects. I'm like, let her cover that segment. People want to hear that religious stuff. I don't want to hear it, but somebody do. And I'm like, and she's consistent. Anybody who get up at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning to talk to 3 people every day, and there's only 3 people, you know it's only gonna be 3, and you still do it. That dedication was like, you should give her opportunity. I know she's struggling. I know she living it with her mama. You know what I'm saying? And she probably used the money. So she sends in the video, and I'm talking to Dr. Watkins, and I'm like, yo, go pull her video. She says she sent it in. He like, she already in the door. I hit her up, and I'm like, Vicky, you're good, right? So she come on board. Everything is fine for a moment. But there came a time when um, I got sick. And I was sick. I was gone for like 2 weeks. I couldn't do any shows or anything. At the same time, I was suspended from Facebook. And so I wasn't looking at the messages inside of the messenger. So people were looking for me for a while, right? I wasn't on Facebook anymore, in the Fly Nubian Queen inbox. And they were asking to do speaking engagements. They wanted me to fly out. So Vicky is in the inbox telling people, okay, and she then, and Shalom, Hotep, free to land. The bitch talking about she gonna let me know. She never let me know. She kept those things from me because she didn't want me to know. So she don't want me to have any speaking engagements. The issue with Vicky is she's a very jealous person, right? So she didn't want me to have any speaking engagements. So she not telling me about my money or anything. Then the Tommy situation that we had, right? So I say, I'm not dealing with Tommy. Tommy done cuss me out. I don't want to fight with this man. I'm going to focus on what we're doing. So Vicky is like, okay, well, we're going to do that. And she's telling me all the time in my face, like, it's okay. We're not going to talk to him. We're not going to go on this nigga platform. Next thing I know, the day before she interviews with him, after I'm publicly saying, we just not going to talk to this man, she's behind my back the whole time talking to Tommy, scheduling an interview, but didn't say nothing to me, right? Then she goes on there. Tommy used her to actually get at me because that's who he really wanted to talk to. So then he gets into a fake beef with her after she leaves, but he airs me out and he starts talking about all this fake stuff like Taharka Bay, saying I got charges I don't have, that my husband was abusing kids. I'm like, whoa, 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 bro. Now I feel forced to have to come on your fucking show because you can't say this stuff about me. And so the next day, she must have sent me 1,000 text messages talking about, don't go on his show. Didn't you hear what he said about me? He called me bitches and hoes. He called me all kind of names in the world, and you gonna go on his show? Bitch, before you even went on his show, did you hear what he said about me? The beef was between me and him. He called me all those things, and you never gave me the regard to not go on there, right? So the whole time she's just doing slick shit like this behind my back, trying to tear stuff down. So I'm trying to do the Black Agenda tour, and come to find out this bitch is going behind the scenes, calling all the people in the nation, talking about don't work with her because she fake, she not doing no work, and she be saying all of this stuff, and she's not a good person. She going behind my back doing this. So you're trying to stop my money. Let's be clear, because if anybody think this is petty, fuck out of here. You tried to stop my money, right? Then you tried to go behind my back and make me look bad and get some clout off of the stress in my life. I did not want to beef with Tommy. Okay, I went through a lot beefing with Tommy, and that was one thing that I didn't want to deal with. Like, people was coming for me. It wasn't necessarily Tommy, but these people was coming for my kids. They put my address online. Like, I went through all of that because you clout chasing, bitch. I didn't want to be in this situation no more. And because you wanted to chase clout, you didn't care to keep throwing me under the bus to get your opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So this is what you're doing. And now you're going behind the scenes trying to tear down my tour, the work that I'm really doing in the community. Like, yeah, Vicky is foul. She's an opportunist. When I left Fly Nubian Queen, she was all in the goddamn comment section talking. I got screenshots of it talking about I hate you, but it's under Fly Nubian Queen, and they tried to cover it. And Dr. Watkins tried to make it seem like it was somebody else and it wasn't her, but nobody else had access to the page at that time. I know that it was fucking Vicky, but she hides behind this self-righteous. Oh, I'm good, but Vicky is fake as fuck. She done frauded the goddamn community. That's why she has charges right now. You can go look at it. And every time she talks about her charges, she never fucking says what they are. Like, she's in trouble for fraud and all of that goddamn that home stuff, when all of the home marketing fell down and everybody was refinancing their loans, but they were doing fake refinancing and people were still losing their homes. Yeah. They went into the churches to go after black people. Well, she was one of those Christian ass church folks who was helping them get them black people so she could make money her damn self, right? So my thing is, Vicky, I'm not the only person that's something to say about Vicky. If you go and see some of the other queens that have left after dealing with her, like anytime a woman is getting more notoriety or she thinks that they're doing good or neck and neck with her, she comes for you. She tries to sabotage you behind the scenes because she's jealous and doesn't want anybody to be in her position. And then when you leave, she will talk mad junk about you, but not say your name. And motherfuckers who watch her know that, but they be trying to cover for the whack ass self-righteous bitch. But she also be trying to report people channels. Her and Dr. Watkins do that. They'll tear your shit down because they don't want you to monetize. That's what they do in the back. They tear people shit down and they report your channels and everything. Because if you're not gonna be here for me to make money off of you, I'm not letting you do it anyway. They did it to Amadada Shakur. You can ask her. So I'm not the only one talking about how Vicky is Dr. Watkins' bottom bitch. And the bottom line is she knows what he does in the community and she covers it up. She watches him. She's the only woman that gets paid and she watches him belittle these other women, not pay them. And if anybody get more views, she always trying to come at their neck. If anybody making some money, she trying to destroy your money. She doesn't do anything but sit the fuck at home behind a screen yelling and screaming with all that fucking hair on her head. But she is constantly trying to tear down people that are doing something. So yes, she's problematic too. And she know how, like I said, she won't speak on Dr. Watkins, but she know he stole her domain too. And he didn't ask her either. She just don't want to bitch about it because he giving her little welfare ass a little bit of money. So I'm just being real. And let me say this too when it comes to fraudulent. And I'm keeping it real. I don't care who don't like it because they can say, oh, it's being petty. I also want to bring up the fact that Vicky Diller does live in housing. Okay? And the reason I want to bring that up is because Dr. Watkins and them threw a conference called Women of Wealth and had Vicky and other women up there on the panels teaching Black women how to build wealth. Is that not fraudulent? How can a motherfucker in housing teach you how to build wealth? How can a motherfucker on Medicaid teach you how to build wealth? How can a bitch who ride the bus teach you how to build wealth? So when we're talking about frauds in the community, all I'm saying is she's playing this, like Kwame said, to go along to get along, and she out here selling people this fraud on goddamn line. You can't teach nobody to build no goddamn wealth, and you ain't got none. You might teach them how to fill out a motherfucking EBT application. So to me, I just feel like that's fraudulent. That is fraudulent because in her real life, she don't have no wealth. And if you bought a ticket to that conference for Vicky to tell you how to build wealth, but she on housing, that's what I'm saying. That's Dr. Watkins' game. They ain't got everything they say they got. They selling people dreams and lies. If you gonna tell me how to do something, you should at least be standing in it yourself. If you not building wealth and you don't have wealth, you can't tell me how to build wealth. She's a fraud.
How do you feel now? You let it all out. Oh, man. Good, man. Oh, man. Beautiful. All right. We ain't done yet. We're going to follow up right now. We're going to keep it going. ETX. We're going to keep it going. We're going to turn it up a notch now. Y'all ready for this? Let's get with it. Let's get it. We're going to turn it up a notch. We ain't done. Mechee going in right now. She's going in. Let's see where we at. Where we at? Let's get this one here. Let's do this. Yes.
I felt a guilt. It was like my son ain't left the same fucking cell and it's been a year. My closet has been, but I felt a guilt. It was like my son ain't left the same fucking cell and it's been a year. My closet is bigger than his cell. I felt guilty to lay on a pillow, to eat regular food, to leave my space. I didn't watch TV for 2 whole years. And I was depressed like a motherfucker. It got to be something that I can do, right? I'm not just going to take this shit no more and not fight back. Like, I'm understanding how we're under attack. I'm hurt, but I'm angry. And somebody owe me. Like, I don't know who that somebody is. And when I say somebody, I guess I mean the government. But, like, y'all owe us. They owe me. Y'all murdered my brother. One of y'all gotta die. I don't know which one, but somebody do. After all these years, you done conditioned his mind at the time when he's the most feeble, the most malleable in his mind, and you conditioned my son to a society of prison, and you want him to come out here and function? This is what they do to all of our boys. Somebody gotta pay for that. When I saw my brother, he was laying on the table. They starved my brother to death, Sonetta. I could see his rib cage. He was on 24-hour lockdown, so they just stopped feeding him. That's how they killed my brother.
How did you come up with the Black Agenda? How did that all start?
Okay, so the Black Agenda was birthed out of my pain, like how women have children. Um, I remember when Tamir Rice got shot. That was like the last straw for me. That has always stuck with me. For the longest, I had a sticky note on my bathroom mirror that said, when I was 12, I watched him beat the shit out of Rodney King, right? And when Tamir Rice was 12, they killed him. But he was 12, fucking 12. And for me, I'm relating in my mind where I was when I was 12. And I remember being 12 and watching them beat the shit out of Rodney King and how that affected me. And I remember how young I was at that time in my life. And to think that's what Tamir was when what happened to him. And we didn't burn this bitch down in that baby name. I stopped watching TV. I couldn't deal with none of that shit no more. I just didn't want to see any of those things. And then I said many times before, I had a brother who was murdered in prison. The corrections officer killed my brother, and then they called it suicide. And I don't want to get into the whole story because it's a lot, but there's evidence that we know that he did not commit suicide. Y'all murdered my brother and then said he committed suicide. But my son, my oldest son, got caught up in the school to prison pipeline. And there was a time when he was in prison that he got put in a hole. He was just trying to mind his business and he was trying to live his life. And he got put in a hole because he wanted to be transferred. And they said they didn't have no beds. But privatized prisons will hold you because they get money for you. So they didn't want to transfer my son to another prison. So he sat in a hole even though he did nothing for over a year. I remember I couldn't leave my room. I mean, I went to the grocery store and I did those things. My mother lived with me at the time, tell me to take care of my other children. But I felt a guilt. It was like my son ain't left the same fucking cell and it's been a year. My closet is bigger than his cell. I felt guilty to lay on a pillow, to eat regular food, to leave my space. I didn't watch TV for 2 whole years. And I was depressed like a motherfucker. But I sat in my room and I said, it gotta be something that I can do, right? I'm not just gonna take this shit no more and not fight back. Like I'm understanding how we're under attack. I would tell you there was a time that I didn't understand what was going on with us in this country. So in that 2 years, I didn't watch TV. But I studied the enemy. I didn't study Black movements. I didn't study the Black Panthers. I didn't study anybody. What I studied was the enemy, right? Because I wanted to understand how they do to us what they do to us. Because what I do understand is that you cannot make a plan of counterattack if you do not understand how you're being attacked. So for 2 years, I sat in that room and I understood how we were conditioned. I began to understand things like the school to prison pipeline. I began to understand how politics really plays a line in what we're doing. I eventually got to Christianity and I realized how much it was used on the plantation and how that was given to us as a weapon. And as I began to study the enemy, the thing I wanted to defeat, not all the people who said they wanted to defeat it, but the thing I wanted to defeat, that's where the Black Agenda came into play. And I looked at the 5 areas I thought that we were under attack. And if we were to deal with those 5 areas, then we could probably get somewhere. But first, we had to understand the attack so that we could find the solutions. So I wrote the Black Agenda in those 2 years of being depressed and sitting in my room because I didn't want to leave it. My son couldn't leave his cell. I can't do nothing about it. That's the most, my son going away to prison is probably the most helpless I've ever felt in my life. You know what I'm saying? And 16.
When you went to prison?
Yeah. Yep, they tried him as an adult. He had never committed a crime before. They used his school record as suspensions.
Still locked down?
Yeah. They gave him 11 years. 11 years. Nobody died. It was his first crime. He was the only juvenile that was involved, and he had no prior record. right? But they made an example of him. But then again, you have the school to prison pipeline. So they use your children's record now to say, well, look at all these suspensions they got. Like, try them as an adult as though they're criminal records. A lot of schools actually give out tickets now, and you have to go to court when you act out in school. So it's actually a court record, right? So this is what they do to your children, so they can automatically try them as adults when they finally do something after they pushed them out of the school because the school environment is not conducive to our children. And so they gave my son 11 years. So, God willing, he'd be home in September. But it's been a long time coming, and I'm hurt, but I'm angry. And somebody owe me. Like, I don't know who that somebody is. And when I say somebody, I guess I mean the government. But like, y'all owe us. They owe me. Y'all murdered my brother. One of y'all gotta die. I don't know which one, but somebody do. Like, y'all took my son from me. He gonna come home and he not gonna never be the same. I don't care what nobody say. You took my son away at 16. He ain't never had no life. He ain't had no job. He ain't have a whole lot of things going on in his life ever. And you gonna send him home after all these years you done conditioned his mind at the time when he's the most feeble, the most malleable in his mind. And you've conditioned my son to a society of prison and you want him to come out here and function? This is what they do to all of our boys. Somebody gotta pay for that. But not just for mine, for everybody else's. Like, if they gave us a fat ass check today, Sonetta, and they gave us all $10 million a piece, I'd rather have revenge. After all of the stuff that has happened to us in this country since we have been here, a fucking reparation check, no matter how big it is, will be a sorry ass apology. Some shit you can't pay for. That money would never bring back all the people they done murdered, all of our loved ones, all the damage that they have done to us in our communities, all of the goddamn babies who got lead poisoning, or all of these vaccinations and how they're poisoning our communities. The money would never fix that. That shit is not gonna fix anything. It's really not. And so for me, the Black agenda is birthed out of my anger and my pain. And my thing is that we have to do something, because I'm not going to sit back and not do nothing no more. Because I was too through to not do anything. So this is where the Black agenda came from.
Your brother too?
Yes. My brother went to prison for armed robbery at 17 years old. He had a gun, but he took the clip out of the gun, and he had told my mother that he was working and he lost his job, but he was giving it to her to help her pay rent. So he would act like he was going to work, and he would rob gas stations, and he would give my mom the money at the end of the week like it was his paycheck. And he had bullets, but he would take the clip out of the gun and leave it all the time. And I used to ask him why he do that, and he was like, because if something was to go down and I was to get shot, I'd rather be my life, because I'm not here to kill nobody. You know what I'm saying? So in the heat of the moment, I don't even want to accidentally pull the trigger. So I'm not even gonna have no bullets in this mug, right? They don't know on the other end I don't have no bullets. But they gave my brother 24 years in prison, and they killed him 2 years later. They starved my brother in a cell. They said that he hung himself, and they said he was on suicide watch. They said he had tried to slit his wrist 2 weeks earlier, so he was on suicide watch, and on suicide watch, he hung himself. But there was nothing around his neck from when you hang yourself. They said he was hanging 20 minutes. There was no mark there. He had no slits on his wrist. When I saw my brother, he was laying on a table. They starved my brother to death, Sonetta. I could see his rib cage. He was on 24-hour lockdown, so they just stopped feeding him. That's how they killed my brother. And they came in his cell. They gave me his box of paperwork, and I read all his paperwork. And he talked about how they used to beat him up all the time. They never went through his paperwork. He wrote journals every day, and that's how I know. And they weren't feeding him. He was asking for haircuts with kites. If you've been in prison, you know what a kite is. For like 6 months on end. Please, God bless, and thank you, right? And they wouldn't give him up. He had a lion's mane on his head. He would sometimes, but like, no, not really. Like, they wouldn't let his mail get out. Sometimes they wouldn't give him mail. Like, they was in there doing my brother dirty. He was in Florence State Prison. Now, if you go look up Florence, Florence is now closed, but they had documentaries on, the notorious prisons back in the day. This was over 20 years ago they killed my brother, right? Right. And so Florence State Prison, and we talking about out in Arizona where this happened. Those were the type of prisons where they would just, pit people against each other. They put two gang members in the same, spot and see who gonna kill who first, and so they would do things like that. But basically they starved my brother to death so he didn't have no strength. And then they came in his cell and they hemmed him up and they killed my brother. And once they strangled him, they had to come up with a story. So they said he hung himself, right? And so, yeah, they murdered my brother and nothing ever got done about it. And they just wasted away. They used to always come in the cell and call him niggas and everything else, right? So when people bring that conversation to me about being biracial, my brother half white side didn't save him from that. He died because they said he was a nigga. So I just want to know how much that that other side really in the real picture of anything, how does that ever help me in the real picture of oppression? You think my half white side get me out of any of this shit? No. So in the bigger picture, people who think that because we have white, oh, we not black, or we don't have the same struggle, you fucking sound crazy to me.
Anybody that knows history should know that the white man don't give a damn about biracial people. Have we forgotten, Q Butter, that when he would rape our women on the plantation, he give them babies, and he don't give a damn about his own baby. That's he raped. You know what I'm talking about? He tell him in a minute, that's not my seed, that's not my child. So right there, that just shows you that no, just because you biracial, that don't mean nothing. That white man still hates you.
Let me drop a bomb on you. You could be in a relationship with a white person and they racist as fuck.
Wow.
Yeah. My father, and I say this all the time, and people can say however they want. I'm just being real. Like my father, I watched my father sit in the ghetto and be just as broke and trifling as everybody else to fuck around him. Wasn't no better than anybody else. But I watched my father at one point say shit like when the Rodney King riots happened, my father turned around and said to me, "This is why you niggas don't have nothing. Y'all always destroy your shit." I was 12. That shit pierced me in my heart. I was like, really? We niggas now, Dad? We niggas? Nigga, you live in the same ghetto as us. You better. So even in my dad was ghetto like everybody else. You was poor, you was broke. You was a little dirty white man. I'm just being real. So people can take however they want. I'm just being honest. Most people don't want to be. And you think you better than somebody just because you white. But you in the same damn predicament. My father's father disowned my father when he married my mother because he gave his name to a nigga.
So your mother was African American?
Yes. Right, my mother's ADOS. So, he was like, you gave our name to a nigga. And he was upset about that, my grandfather. So he, you know, and like I said, I watched my father time and again not be overly racist, but I watched that I'm better than black folks come out and I watch him make comments and it's like, damn, because he did. And what struck it to me was when you said, they'll say, oh, that's not my child. Not like he never denounced me, but we was watching the Rodney King things and I was angry, like, look at this. And I'm upset. And he looked at me, he was like, that's why you niggas. He called me a nigga. You niggas don't have shit now. I'm a nigga now. Oh, okay.
Oh, he was talking about because of how people was rioting and all that?
Yeah. Yeah, or the riots, But like I said, there were plenty of times I watched my dad think that he was better than everybody else. You're just a fucking drunk white boy that live in the hood. Like, that's my father, but that's the truth. So being biracial, I grew up learning that hard truth. You know what I'm saying? I got an auntie right now. I don't talk to her because she racist as hell. She said some disrespectful shit about Tamir Rice, and she tried to tell me not to check her, and I had to remind her I'm grown. I am not a little girl anymore. And at the end of the day, you can get your racist white ass off my page. And she hasn't spoken to me since. I don't give a damn, But again, I've seen that in my family. So for people who, want to act like, oh, I've watched white people, right, get with black people. And even though they say they love you, you'd be surprised how many folks would love a black person that's white until you start asking the right questions. Start asking them about racism. Start asking about their white privilege. Have them conversations and let's see how quick they love your black ass. I'm just saying. Right. That's the truth, though.
Okay. In your opinion, is there a divide of sexism in the black movement that we say we are part of?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been there for forever, and I don't think we want to talk about the things that go on behind the scenes. I think the same stuff we deal with today is the same stuff that's been going on since the organizations in the civil rights movement. Nothing is any different. Egos, backbiting, and sexism, yes. You know what I tend to run into a lot? I'm not gonna say there's a lot of men that blow me off like Mechee, you're not as good as us. Actually, they be in competition with me. I don't know what that's about. That shit is stupid. But what I will tell you, I find a lot is that whenever I'm trying to do something in the community, and I'm working with men, I have the black community and all the men always telling me that I sleep with everybody. All the motherfucking time. And it's very disheartening that I gotta be a hoe because I'm a black woman. Like at the end of the day, we talk about how white supremacy will give the stigma that black women are just good for sex and they hoes. And the same conscious people who say that stuff that be back and forth on, YouTube and everybody's space, like as soon as they see me dealing with a person, they swear I'm sleeping with them. Like, don't be surprised if somebody be like, oh, you fucking Sinetta now. I'm just being real. I'm serious. But they said it about Q. They called the school Q the last time I was here. I just put online that I was going to the studio. They called the studio and the school and left a message. Yo, put Mechee fat ass on the phone. I know you fucking her. You and Q ain't building no schools. Put that bitch on the phone. I'm like, is this a disgruntled lover? I don't even know what's going on. Like, these men are ridiculous with it. I've slept with Tommy, let them tell it. I'm sleeping with K-Foss, let them. I sleep with everybody, let them tell it. I run into that a lot. And it's black men who keep telling me that. Any man that I stand next to and I work with, I can't be just working with them. Somehow I got to be sleeping with them because you just see us as these sex objects. Before you try and check us about how the music is and Jews and everybody else make the music when it comes to that industry or whatever, I think that we should check ourselves because black men continue to push that narrative way too much. I also get told because I'm a woman that I should sit down because I can't be a leader, that women cannot lead anybody anywhere. Especially from Hebrews. Hebrews say that. Hebrews, the Christians, everybody tell me that. Like, I need to sit down because I'm a woman, which is ridiculous to me because if we understood the value of the man and the woman, when we come together, we both bring something to the table. And to disvalue the woman and say there's nothing that she can lead us in, that is not true. I'm tired of people mixing up feminine and masculine energy with stereotypical gender roles. Does that make sense? So we will say that femininity is this and masculinity is this, but I would have people think about the fact that when you talk about Mother Nature, is Mother Nature something nice? Mess with a woman's child and see what she does. So why do we think that femininity don't never got no bite about her? Why do we always think femininity says be docile and be quiet and don't say anything? Who told you that's what feminine energy was? See, I think that we mix that up. Gender roles say women should act like this. That's not feminine energy. We always think masculine energy is just strength and fight. Feminine energy has a fight in it too. Feminine energy is everything that allows me to sit on the borderline of life and death and give birth and be the portal that brings another being into this world. We call Mother Nature for a reason, right? The rain can come and gently cleanse you and calm you, but I can destroy your ass as well if I bring enough water in this mug. A cool breeze is nice on a hot day, but if I bring it too hard, I can destroy this whole goddamn city with my wind. Do you understand what I'm saying? So why do we always act like Mother Nature ain't got nothing to offer? There are female species in the animal kingdom that is actually the aggressor, right? And will tear you down for messing with her cubs or with her man or whatever the hell else. So I just think that we have that mix to say that women can't lead us in anything. We can. And they keep saying that. I just think that that's ridiculous because even the men can learn from the women. I don't ever want to tell men how to be men. But if I can impart in men how we want to be loved, how the women in 2021 as black women, how we feel, how as the independent woman, I stand up for myself because I have to, but it doesn't mean that I want to. That for me, I don't want you to be a bum, but it matters that you come and take some of the weight of the world off my shoulders. For me and a lot of black women, it's important that you bring your being a man to the room and to the situation and into our lives and into our space. Because when you do that and you show up as a man in real masculinity, not I'm tough, I got this ego, that's not masculinity. But when you show up as a real man, guess what happens by nature? Our femininity will show up. It will have no choice because energy will balance itself out in the room. But when men are not acting like the men they need to be, I got to always be the superwoman. I don't want to be that. I don't. Like, I don't need a nigga to buy me a Gucci bag. I need you to take some of the weight of the world off my shoulders and let me have a little bit of peace. Let me be a lady, right? Let me walk in my femininity that you think I should have. And then maybe I'll lower my voice a little bit. Maybe I won't walk around here telling everybody what to do because for a moment I can trust you and I can let you tell everybody what to do because I know you got this, baby, right? Men don't understand that that's what we need. They think we want Gucci bags. They think that we want, a man to buy us all this stuff and take us on vacation or listen to Kevin Samuels, shit, you got to be a six-figure earner. That's not necessarily true. So even when it comes to leading men, I can teach you a lot. If you've ever had a college professor that was a woman, then I can teach you something that you might not know. But I can also teach you, if you're willing to listen, to the generation of Black women that seem to be so hardened and how we got this way and how we really don't want to be this way, right? So to discount that, I get that shit all the time. They act like us women can't teach anything. They act like we always having sex with everybody. It's very disheartening because I work with a lot of brothers. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brothers. Like, brothers is out here doing the work. Not to say the women aren't either, but brothers are doing the work. And I work with a lot of men. And I get tired of that stigma carrying. I think it's trifling. And I think it's something we need to dismiss. But the truth is, it's going to always be here. And this ain't the shit the white man doing to us. This is what we doing to ourselves. Let's be clear about that.
Man, y'all getting all the meaty right now, man. This is powerful right here. I'm loving every minute of it. What is your take on the Me Too movement? And do you believe that women who are coming forth are being honest for the most part? Are most of the women crying rape? Or do you think they are being sincere with it?
Well, the Me Too movement to me is some bullshit. And the reason why I say that, so cute. The reason why I say that is because I find that Black men have become the face of it.
Okay.
Even though they only become the face of it when it's white women crying. Like, where have you seen other than R. Kelly, Black men be taken down for doing something to a Black woman? You don't. It's only the white girl who was like, he looked at my titties too much. Well, nobody told you to have your titties out every day at work, right? It's that kind of, oh, well, he made a remark about my thighs. Well, your thighs was out. So let me be honest about that. Like, I'm okay with men being men. Like, if we look good and we walk past, I don't think that you're sexually harassing me if you say, damn, girl, you look good. I'm going to say thank you. That's your way of saying, hey, now, you know what I'm saying? And you giving me a compliment, whatever it is. But I think it's gotten ridiculous because we talk about toxic masculinity. And the truth is, being masculine is not toxic. And I think they want you to think that if a man is not in a dress, he's toxic. If a man likes women and if he catcall or if he tell you how fine you is, all of a sudden he toxic. Y'all don't like compliments, lady? You don't want you put on that badass outfit so a motherfucker can tell you look good and then he do it now. He being toxic. So the Me Too movement has done nothing but made Black men the face of predators in this country when they are not the biggest predators. That would be a lie. The white men are the biggest predators to ever be around. They have raped more people than anybody, probably cats, dogs, trees, and the breeze. They rape everything, okay? And so I have a problem with the fact that Black men have become the face of it, and it's usually at the expense of white women crying something happened to them that did not happen to them, right? So I will say that I don't think that in the Me Too movement, Black girls get enough attention. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a movement for white women, and I don't give a damn about it. It's a movement for white women, and it destroys Black men far too much. So no, I have no appreciation for it. I will say this too with the R. Kelly. If anybody be like, oh, they took down R. Kelly. They only took down R. Kelly to prove a point. They needed R. Kelly to be the face because you do know that they didn't bother to take R. Kelly down when he was a cancer to his people. The white people only took him down when it benefited their cause. See, look at one of the biggest the rapers of Black girls. But you didn't care about them Black girls. That's why y'all let him go after he had that sex with that 13-year-old girl, Star's niece, many years ago. We all knew that, and nobody did anything about it. It went to court, but somehow he got off. But now we got to make an example of him because all it does is boast that Black men. Y'all supposed to be the face of everything. Y'all the face of wearing dresses. Y'all the face of sexually assaulting everybody. You the face of the thug, right? You the face of everything that's bad in this country. And I find that very ironic because if we the smallest population, how you the face of everything? So the Me Too movement is very disingenuous. I would say this as a woman too. Women do lie. I'm not going to say that women are not sexually assaulted because I have been sexually assaulted several times in my life. In the sense that the statistics are true that like 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 Black girls will be sexually assaulted several times by the time they reach 18. And the truth is that is true. But I will also tell you from a standpoint, I've watched women want to get back at men and say things that are not true and that I don't agree with. So sometimes that happens. But what I'm not going to do is split hairs and say women are always lying, or that they always telling the truth. Because let's be clear, women lie too. And let's make another thing clear. Women are predators too. But nobody wants to have that conversation. So,
what do you think should be done to the white teacher who made the little Black kindergarten dig in the toilet? You familiar with that? Who made the little Black kid dig in the toilet? And the other story of the non-white child being paddled by the white principal while the mom watched and secretly record. Should those women get jail time?
Absolutely. Well, I will tell you what this will happen. I don't understand the mother with the child who had to clean his poop out the toilet with his hand, because I would have gone to jail that day. I would have whooped the teacher's ass. I'm just telling you, this is why I pulled my kids out of public school, because I would have fought her. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you can send her to jail, but she just needs her ass whooped, period. Somebody should have whooped her ass and put her face in the toilet. You want somebody to put their hands in the toilet? Like, to me, that is a sign that we need to learn as parents to protect our children. And when you see these things are going on in the school system, it is your responsibility to get your kids out of that school system. And this is why we promote things like Zayek's Institute. I refuse to have my children in public school. You know, that's a whole nother story. But the public school is horrific. And it is a school to prison pipeline. As far as the other kid that's not black, excuse me, that's not black. He got paddled. I think that's crazy. From a perspective, let me just be real about it. It ain't got nothing to do with black people in that sense. But my understanding is the lady was like an immigrant or something. So she wasn't familiar with the way things were. So she kind of thought that that's what you have to let them do to your kids in school. So I just don't know where these white women get off thinking. It takes me back to what you were saying about, like, on the plantation, the men don't want to claim their babies. And they had to come up with that law because all the white women is killing all the biracial babies, beating them to death because that's your husband's child. Like, white women are one of the biggest perpetuators of white supremacy. I don't know why we don't think they are. Like, they the ones that packed the picnic baskets for the damn lynchings. They're the ones that was in their dresses screaming at the little black girl trying to go to school, right? So the white women have always been present with their face angry and twisted up in every picture you can find. They was present at every lynching. They fucking sold the goddamn hoods for the KKK. So you should not have your children in these public schools that are predominantly filled with white women who, by long history, have had great hatred for black children. We continue to see this time and time again. I don't know why we keep giving our children to these white women to teach, right? But the bottom line in that is, we all know it's not right, but the thing is, we always talk about what's right and wrong. What would we do? And any parent that would allow that to happen to their child and not whoop that teacher's ass, you failed your child. You failed your child. And if you sent your child back to that school the next day, you failed your child. Mm-hmm. I'm not going nowhere. And for everybody who think that, you're going to knock me off my square, or you can say what you want to say or whatever, and somewhere Mechee going to go crawl under a rock and disappear, that's not going to happen, because I don't do this because of those people. My fight and my focus is something far beyond. But I will tell people this. I'm not going to keep fighting with black people. I meant what I said when it came to, like, Tahaka and all other people. You're not going to keep calling me, saying certain things about me that are not true. I'm ready to get to fighting white supremacy, right? In a way that I don't have to go through black people all the time to get to what's supposed to be done. We waste too much energy on fighting each other. And I would prefer to get to the person who's the real enemy, right? But I want to make this clear. In my walk, I'm not going to stop calling out black people. And I'm not going to stop calling out the problems we have in our communities or the problems that hinder us and keep us back. I think that for as long as we have had movements, we don't talk about the inside problems. And it's part of why we keep failing. The same issues we see today, the sexism, the backbiting, the stealing of money, the doing it for the wrong reasons, the egos, all of those, the ops, right? It's always a nigga willing to sell you out for $1, Tahaka. And so, like, at the end of the day, this is what we do to each other. I'm not gonna stop calling that stuff out. So people could just get used to it. You could call me what you want. I'm on a mission. And I will be honest, my mission is very personal to me. I want to see our people get to where we need to be. But understand, in the back of my vision, I see all of us as black people getting free, but I also see my dead brother's face. I also see my child you took from me. So understand, whether a motherfucker want to come along on this journey with me or not, I'm okay with that. I don't need everybody. I just need those that's ready to roll, right? And so for me, I just want people to understand that I do this. Let me say it like this. This is not what I do. This is who I am. And there are plenty of times I've said, I'm tired of the motherfucker and I want to walk away. I've told Q, I've told everybody else, I just want to go back to my regular life because this shit ain't worth it because of all the stress it takes. I don't want people to think just because Mechee tough that I don't have my moments where it just become too much, right? But at the end of the day, I don't know how to turn around and go back to my regular life. I don't know how to not be Mechee. I don't know how to not fight for my people or move forward in the stuff that needs to be done. There are times I want to quit because, oh my God, this shit is hard. You know what I'm saying? I was telling somebody the other day, I was telling them on my live the other day, Sonetta, that I have police come to my house to pretend like people have burglarized it to find out if I live there. I've had cars follow me every time I go through the airport. Now, I want you to mark this. Now, tomorrow, I'm not carrying my own bag when we hit Miami. Every single time I go through the airport with my whole crew, Everybody. This woman got 1,003 million pieces of stuff in her bag. She is my makeup person, right? She does much more than that, but wardrobe, she helped me with all of this. So, right? She have all the stuff in her bag. My bag be having nothing in it. I'm a horrible packer. Every time I get out the airport, I have a slip in there that says Homeland Security checked your bag, right? So I just want people to know that I ain't got time for y'all bullshit. Like, my name on a list somewhere for real, for real. You don't have to think I'm doing the motherfucking work, but I'm obviously doing something because I don't give a damn if you watching me, right? It's some other people that's watching me that obviously says that I should watch my steps, right, until I'm ready to pay the price. But let it be known, Sonetta, I'll pay the price. I will pay the price. I am willing to die, and I'm willing to die, and I'm willing to kill. And I'm willing to go to prison for the rest of my life, but for the right reasons. What I'm not going to do is throw myself out there before all of the people, say, let's all go do this. They lock me up for 55,000 years. They kill me and everybody else sitting back. You know how everybody want to go jump somebody? And then you the first one to jump, then the rest of the niggas run. And then y'all want to hashtag my name. Y'all think y'all going to hashtag my name? And then forget about me and still be enslaved? If it's not going to lead to a real revolution or no freedom, then I don't want to do it. At the end of the day, I'm not going out there to throw myself out by myself. But I will tell you this. I am ready to give everything I have for this fight. And this is why it bothers me so much, all of the division that I see. The shit is sad.
Yes, and I was going to ask you, how does it make you feel when you know you give your life for our people? When you know that you are out here doing the work and to have these same nigga coons out here trashing your name, trying to bang on you for little petty shit, just to try to expose another system.
Or to make $100. Right. Make $100. That's all it was. I know that many people ain't signed up for the site. But what's your cash app? You need some money? You could just ask. Like everybody else. You know, bitch, you give out a lot of money. You ain't know that though. Expose that shit, nigga. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. And I'm gonna be honest with you. There are plenty of times that I don't think we gonna make it. The answer is the answer to how we get free is so big. I don't think we gonna make it, Si. Because we far too conditioned, and there's way too many of our own people in the way. And then too many of us is ready to kill and murder other people that look like us, but we won't take that same stance against the enemy that don't look like us. Like, I don't understand the difference of if you're gonna spend the rest of your life in prison or if you're gonna be murdered. What difference does it make if you go to prison for killing a cop or a white person or somebody that done did something wrong, or you done stood the fuck up for your freedom? Like, prison is prison. Death is death. You're willing to give all of that every day when it comes to another person that look like you. So you can't tell me you're not a killer. We got killers all over our community. You can't tell me we all got killers. Yes, and programming is the biggest weapon that they use against us. And that's the thing. I don't know if we can unprogram a whole nation. I don't think it can be done. See, I like to tell people, you can't uncondition a mind. Minds are meant to be conditioned. That's how the brain works, right? So what you have to really do is you have to enslave and condition somebody to the idea of freedom.
Let me ask you, how much do you think the Bible has played a role in our conditioning?
Oh, so much. Okay, so look, don't be calling me later to talk about these Hebrews want to challenge you. I'm not coming. And if I do, you cannot wear a skirt to talk to me. I'm just saying, you got to leave the leather at home. You can't come looking like show enough. I'll show with the glow. I have my makeup woman put some glow. I come with the glow, like Bruce Leroy. But the Bible has held us back so much. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, okay, your God is your biggest thing to anybody, right? And whatever you want to call it, whatever religion you have, God is a big thing to everybody. It's everything, the crux of how you hear, what you believe in, your morals, your basis. There's nothing that compares to people's belief in what God is. If you could be the voice of God, how much could you control a person? Right? So Christianity is white people being the voice of God for us. This is why you find Black people who say, I'm just going to pray a little while longer. I'm going to wait on the Lord. I'm going to turn the other cheek. I'm going to pray for my enemies. Well, why you don't want to put your foot on their neck? Why you don't want to kill your enemy when they murdering you? Like, why do you want to pray for them? That makes no logical sense to me, because as a human being, your first instinct should be self-preservation and to do what you need to do to survive. So why are we the only people who run around here, Christianity, talking about forgive? It keeps us from doing any of those things. We all waiting on Jesus to come and fight our battles for us, right? The Lord to fight my battles. Well, the Lord ain't showed the fuck up. Where he at? Where he at? Because he not here. And so we look at all of these churches on the corner. So let's be specific about Christianity even a little bit more. We got all of these churches on the corner. When you go to a hood, you got liquor stores and churches, like nothing else, right? But how come ain't no change in that community? I thought y'all had all the power, right? Because most churches are 501c3s. You can't speak political stuff. You can't rile up your folks because you have actually taken part in Caesar. What you do is you are allowed to collect money from your people by selling them a fucking dream and some hope. And you have to pay no taxes on it as long as you shut your mouth, because we know that God is a powerful thing. So if you stand on your pulpit and you begin to preach politics, and if you begin to teach your people and you tell them who to vote for, and you start telling them all these different things, this is why churches cannot participate in politics. You can't do those things. Your 50c3 signs that away, and you're basically selling your soul to be able to lead your people in the right direction, all to not have to pay taxes on your goddamn money. That right there should be questioned. This shouldn't be 4 churches within a 1 mile radius, 4, 5 churches, and ain't shit changing that community. The God you serve ain't shit if that's the case. Now, the people gonna get mad. So you said God ain't shit. I know I said the God you serve ain't shit if that's the case, right? Then you talk about the Hebrew Israelites. All they did was turn the Bible black. All they did was make it all black. And they tell you that we under a curse. See, the new Christians want you to go by the New Testament. The Hebrews want to live by the Old Testament. And they tell you that we living under a curse. So if God has cursed us, that means that we are receiving a punishment. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, if my mama punished me for something I did wrong, I went to my room. I didn't fight her on it because I felt that was a rightful punishment because I had done something wrong. So how the fuck are Hebrew Israelites going to ever get up and do anything if you think that we deserve this? And it will only be over when God come and tell you it's over. With mindsets like that, and it's based on your God, which is one of the most powerful beliefs that any human being can have, this is a big reason why we can't get nowhere, because every fucking religion that Black people believe in is a docile religion that says, pray a little while longer, wait a little while longer, forgive your enemies when they ain't even motherfucking saying sorry. Any religion that talks to you like that is something that keeps you enslaved. You are a human being and you have every right to fight for your right to be the human being and have the freeness that God we all believe in created us to be able to do so. No man should have reign over that. Absolutely. No man should have reign over that. You know what I'm saying?
It's fear as well, because the Bible teaches you to fear. Oh, if I step out of line, God's going to do this. I'm going to get punished by God.
No.
God is going to do that.
I don't think it's fear. I think it's weak back. You know why? Because they all fear, but everybody that's sitting there, let me look at the camera, and y'all talk about you fear God. All of you is sinning. You liars. You all drink. You all fornicate. You all smoking. You all cussing. You all doing all of that shit, and you over here talking about you don't fear God. Because if you feared the God that you talk about, you know what you lazy as fuck, and you just waiting for God to fix your problems. See, I wish that my children would be raised by me and then leave my house and not be an example of me. Meaning this, if you a child of God, then why the fuck don't you act like it? Why you keep coming to your father talking about fix my problem? Don't you already have what's inside of you to fix you? Are you not the child of a God, or are you not? So see, I'm confused by that. So Christianity, you ain't fear to God. And all these religions, Hebrew Israelites, you're not fearing God because you don't walk the walk you say. You're all self-righteous and behind closed doors. You're all doing fuck shit. That is the truth of the matter, whether they want to be honest or not. What it is you too lazy. See, religion does this, any religion. It allows you to blame all of your bad doings on something outside of you. But the devil or this energy or this spirit, this thing made me do it, so you got to rebuke the devil, right? And everything you need to save you is outside of you as well. And you got to go to something else that's not you to save you. That's backwards as fuck. Because the truth is, how about you just look at yourself in the mirror, and if you're on some bullshit, check yourself. See, it allows you not to take accountability because it's the devil that made you do it. You know what I'm saying? You just caught up in this curse. No, you're just on some bullshit, and you should check yourself. But it allows you not to have to do that. And then when it comes time to fix your problems, you don't know how to do that either because you waiting on something else to do it. How about you just take the responsibility that if your life ain't going right, get the fuck up and change it. Nobody wants to hear that though, because then it leaves you, the individual, it leaves you accountable for everything in your life. Your good, your bad, your saving grace, your fucked up shit. You have to face yourself. People don't want to face themselves. So religion is an easy way out. You don't have to do shit. That's how I see it, right? They ain't fearing God. They not. They fear the white man. That's what they fear.
In closing, what should we do? Where do you see black people in the next 5, 10 years? What are some solutions?
I see black people in the next 5 to 10 years, more than dying, taking this vaccination. I see depopulation happen. See, some people don't want to hear this answer. I don't see us getting free. The government is finna get every damn body. I see for 5 years from now, black men all in dresses, boys will be princesses. I see our population declining. I see a lot of people dying because of this vaccination. I see some shit hitting the fan when we talk about the new world order that we're going into. And a lot of people ain't gonna be here to survive it. And in 5 years, it's gonna be a whole new world, right? In my Little Mermaid voice, it's gonna be a whole new world in this mug. This is what I see. I don't see black people finding any freedom. I don't see us getting any further. I see that there's been a reset happening right now in society. So society is resetting. And the way we're going to be in 5 years is all of us old heads dying off while all of our children are being birthed into a generation of this LGBTQ shit, new pronouns and everything else, right? You're also going to need vaccination passports. And for people who don't want to take that poison, y'all think it's a joke, you're going to be stuck up in your house. Right? You're going to need a passport, or you're going to be what they call the underworld people, and you got to sit at home. Why you think everything online now, Sinetta? Groceries? You need groceries, we'll deliver it to you. You need a car, we'll bring it to your house. I don't know where you're going without the vaccination, but we'll bring it to you. You need anything? This is why during this time, they made this transition. Everybody is so used to buying everything online and sitting in their house, because for those of you that don't comply, that's where the fuck you're going to be. You're going to be in your house. So this government has a whole lot of plans for us, and it's not just black people. They have a lot of plans for everybody. And so in 5 years, nothing we see today is going to look anything like what we see today. And as far as black people going and us fighting for that, I see this world coming to this country coming to turmoil on other odds, whether it be race. I don't see race and black folks jumping up and us fighting over that. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think black folks going to still be in the same condition that they in today, probably worse. I just don't see it. I really don't, because I look at where we are from behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, and it's a small percent of people who want to wake up, but it's not enough of them who want to wake up. And even if you wake up, you got to get out of bed, you got to get dressed, you got to move on about your day. Just because you awake don't mean shit if you lay there. So if you're not going to do nothing with that woke knowledge and you're not going to get together and do anything, we're going to be in the same boat. If we're going to be anywhere different in 5 years, then you telling me black people are going to get up and we're going to start a revolution, that we're going to die, we're going to kill, we're going to burn this bitch down, and whatever rises from the ashes, the government will have to build something completely different, right? Because the truth is, white supremacy is just another word for the government, right? So we gonna be exactly where we are. All our sons gonna be in dresses, though. Remember that. Unless you send them to Zayax, we keep them kids out of. You said you send the kid to public school. He coming home with black fingernail polish and dresses, and his name is finna be Tanisha and shit. I am so serious. But if I knew then, before I had children, what I know now, I wouldn't have brought kids into this world. And I know some people be like, that's harsh to say. Like, I love my kids, don't get me wrong. But I understand, like, my son is in prison based on how all of this stuff is structured in this damn country. I have a child who has autism from a vaccination. Like, my kids got to grow up and continue to live in this world. He went and got one of his regular shots when he was 2, and everything changed. Yeah.
So when you hear this stuff about
it was just a regular shot, and it was one that's been approved and everything. This vaccination ain't even approved as COVID-19 vax.
look at that.
The FDA said that it's not an approved vaccination. It is basically an experiment. It has not been approved because it did not go through the guidelines. Most vaccinations take 10 years or more to actually go through the trials. So you really are taking an experiment when you take it. The FDA has admitted this if we would just go read the paperwork, but we won't. Just go to the site. It says it right there. It's not approved. Yeah. Just go look. So,
All right. So where can the people follow you?
They can follow me on YouTube at Mechee on all platforms. I'm on Instagram. You see me on Instagram a lot more. I'm actually revamping my YouTube channel because they be hating on me. I actually am going to Roku real soon, right? And Prime TV. Yeah, I have my own TV channel. Roku. Yeah, Roku, Prime TV. Yeah, it'll be on several stations. So you'll be able to catch me in a package or you can subscribe to the channel. We got some things in the works. So I have moved myself. I know people like you on these white folks platforms. Well, the platforms that I'm going to are much different. You can say what you want to say, do what you want to do. It's the same platforms that all of them crazy ass, what is them cartoons everybody watch? Family Guy, and they be in there making racial remarks and sexual innuendos. I can say what I want. YouTube and Instagram for right now. You can go to the realmecheex.com. My music is up there. I'm not really doing anything. The Black Agenda be coming back in 30 days. Yeah.
Like, what kind of music do you do?
Okay, so my first album, right, it's on streaming platforms, but it's also on my site. But my first album was, it's a little bit of rap. I dabbled into it, but it was my spoken word, right? I do spoken word. It's called Revolutionary. But this recent music I put out, it's rap. It's all rap with no spoken word. I was just in the studio the other night at Zyx Studios. I have to say I'm so proud. My daughter, she's 18, and she actually is featured on one of my songs. She helps me write a lot, and she helped me write the hook. And I cannot sing. I was trying to sing it, and Q told me, "No, just get out the booth and let Shadanya do it." So not only did she help me write it, she sung it. So my baby will be on these other songs. But I will tell you this, in my music, it's the same. I'm the same across the board. I'm just trying to hit different audiences. You might not watch my YouTube, but maybe you listen to my music. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to catch people in all avenues across the board. So my music is the same. I'm not coming with no mamby-pamby. I promise you we talk about revolution and all the things I say. It's just
okay. So what do you think about Tariq Nasheed album when it came out?
You just trying to start that up.
Like a couple of tracks on it. Especially when he did the video and you see him in the video.
You like the one? Is you being here doing this when you listening to him? You do that move? He said, yeah.
I think he was going down Las Vegas or something.
In a car with that fur on, with the top down. Who wear furs with the top down? At the party, I was. Okay.
What was the name of it? Like
Mink Slide. Background, but that was horrific. Mink Slide. So, okay, let me say what I think about this album. I think that shit is whack. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just saying that because I like Tariq. I would say y'all wouldn't listen to his music. I'm just laughing. This is my thing. I just feel like Tariq is trying to get it all lanes. Like, he was rapping and doing that bullshit back in the day. His rap was whack. I don't know if y'all heard his song, Go Wash Your Ass. Like, King Flex or whatever. I never really thought his rap was really good. I've always thought that shit was whack, even, before, because people told me to listen to it. Even before I couldn't stand the Negro. I listened to it. It was kind of whack. And as far as his mix slide, I mean, it's an audience for it. But to me, it's just really old school. It just shows his age. So let me be honest and be fair. I just think it's some real old school shit. And again, it's not anything reaching the people. For me, with Tariq, it's like the nigga just jumping any lane because he's trying to make money. Like, you would think, for me, and this is my opinion, like, this is not, like I said, this is not what I do. This is who I am. So no matter what you catch me doing, it's going to always be in the vein of pro-blackness, right? So he was just making his music. I think it's something he's always wanted to do, so he had the money to do it, so he did it. But I think to be as pro-black as you are, it's just kind of weird to see you in a band with a white guy. You know what I'm saying? And y'all niggas wear roller skates and, like, you know what I'm saying? And y'all wear minks and shit. I don't know. It's just, it's funny to me. You such a pimp, my nigga, and you so hard, but I'm not understanding why you and the white guy got a band together. That's all I'm saying. What? Is y'all laughing at me? I'm just telling the truth. I was about to say, how you pro-black and got a fucking white boy in your band? Nigga, you got on roller skates and you 6'6". Like, calm down. That's all I'm saying. It's old school. Give me cameo vibes. She's strange and I like it. You know that shit? That's it. That's it. But hey, somebody like it. If it's for whoever like it, they like it. But I was watching it. I was laughing at the shit. It was funny to me. It's not anything I would ever listen to.
Okay, give us something. Give us some in your rap or something. Let me hear something.
Y'all can't. I can't hit you with the new stuff. It's about to come out.
Give us a sample.
A sample.
Let us hear something. Let us give us some bars.
I know, right? I got all the songs I wrote in my head right now. That's what's in there, but they all coming out. We record them in the studio, right? Let me see. Which one we got? Look,
Still want to release the beats. What about that one?
That's a rap song. Don't nobody rap that. But I know Peter know nothing.
Is your music like conscious, or you dropping some information to the people?
It is. If you listen to Revolutionary spoken word, so like it's if you listen to it, you know what I'm saying? I got parts on there that I am teaching you some. It's one called the plantation, right? And on there I'm talking about how we're not so far removed, and I talk about what they really did and then how it plays into today, that we're still enslaved. And so I related to today and the prisons and the different things that they did. So yeah, you're gonna learn something. If you're gonna be entertained, but you're definitely gonna learn something. This newer music that I'm doing right now, I would tell you that this newer music, it ain't more about teaching something, it's more like a call to action, right? So one of the songs we just recorded the other day is We Oughta, right? And I'm suggest We Oughta, W-E.
Fatal Divine. I see you probably wasn't in here when I addressed this already. Most of you out there got white daddies. Most of you out there have a white father as well.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Mechee X is more blacker than a lot of you niggas out there. I'm gonna say that again. Mechee X have more courage in her pinky than a lot of you Negroes got in your whole body. I don't see nothing coming from y'all. I don't see you in no movements. I see you make a lot of excuses. Mechee X, when she get on the goddamn plane, they following her. They opening up her luggage and they checking her. So all of you weak Negroes, man, that be talking crazy, look at your daddy and ask your daddy, or I'll ask you, what type of movement was he in? What was he doing for his people? So just because her father was white, your father was white as well. Frantz Fanon, black skin, white mass. Just because you got the black skin on you don't mean you're black. It's a mindset. So we never deal with the color because we know that we are not black. It's a political term that we use. Check. So to me, Mechee X is more blacker than a lot of you Negroes that's out there talking that crap. That's facts. Check. All right, let's continue. We're almost over.
EOUTTA, we oughta. Like we oughta do something. So I'm implying what we ought to be doing, right? And so in that, I'm giving some acknowledgement to the fact that like this marching in the streets don't work, right? It don't. Like all of that shit is obsolete, What I say, with anger we gritting our teeth. We taking it all to the streets. Don't you know that shit's obsolete? The home of the black man cries, we forgive, it's our demise. Don't you see the red in my eyes? Freedom is where I reside. Tell the oppressor goodbye. Fire with fire is what we should try. It's only so much you get by. Be for dirty deeds and come collide, right? So that's one of the verses. So like I'm more a call to action. Like this next album, the other one was informing you. This one is like, fuck this shit we doing. Let's get to what's getting done. I'll give y'all this too. Like this is exclusive. Like y'all not supposed to be hearing this. But like the song my daughter is on, the hook is one of these days we gonna burn this bitch down. One of these days we gonna turn shit around. Holla if you hear me, tell me if you down. One of these days we gonna burn this bitch down, right? And then I go into my verses and we got the bridge. I won't give you too much. But so this one is more like a call to action. Like what the fuck we gonna do, right? The other one was informing you. This one is like, what y'all wanna do?
Yeah. What do you think about the music that Q came out with called Caution?
I feel like Q be holding on to all his gems, and if you don't hurry up and fucking drop these videos, and then he got all kind of gems that you don't even know nothing about. He be showing me all these videos in the studio, and I'm like, when are you going to put it out? And he's like, I don't know. next summer. Like, if you don't drop that shit already, don't look like Takario. He looking like his kid right now. That look, he got some fire he holding up in that studio. He ain't let out yet. Yeah. We working on a piece too. You're not on the one not for profit. So, we working on some other stuff in the studio. I'm featured on a couple other songs. So I'm down here doing work in the studio.
All right, family. So yeah, I mean, if y'all want to call in, I'll take a couple of questions. I got some fire coming for y'all tomorrow. Like I said, damn, I don't know why. Is my joint looking fuzzy over there where y'all at too?
Just give me something that's good that works like
Is it looking blurry? Oh no. Yeah, so I've got, like I said, I was over there hanging out with the Nation of Gods and Earth yesterday. Them brothers still got it moving, still doing what they do. Whether you agree with them or not, when they come together, you see nothing but brotherhood, unity, love, and they out there having their fun. So it was peace. Rabon came through. Of course, Rabon got to come through, representing the Nation of Gods and Earth. Are there anybody who would like to call in? Anybody? Come on, man. Let's call it in. Call it in. Not close out, and I'll be ready for y'all tomorrow. I have another show coming up tomorrow, and I'm going to show some of the Nation of Gods and Earth. All right? I'll wait for another minute. I know how y'all do. Peace and black power. What's going on, Lord Ever?
Peace. What's going on, sir? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
I'm chilling. I was just watching the sister go in. I want to give a shout out to that sister. I think the sister is very passionate. A couple brothers on the Beat of Power team, they really love the sister. I catch the sister every so often, and the sister went in, man, and I think I just want to say to the people that saying that she got a white father, that it's a stupid way to try to rebuttal somebody, right? Because most of us got white people somewhere in our line, especially right here in the United States of America. So, I just wanted to call in, show some support to the sister.
And if you was to look at their channel, Lord Abba, and see what they talking about, I guarantee you'd be like blown away, probably like, what the hell is these niggas over here doing? You listen to Mechee. Come on, man.
Yeah, when you listen to when you go to Tahaka Bay's channel, like I said, it's nothing but a soap opera for stagnant boys that ain't doing nothing. Like Tahaka, you got the nerve to talk about somebody scamming somebody. You've been building a forest village for 5 years, taking donations. I ain't see a village in Baltimore. I ain't see a building get built yet. Maybe a basement got refurbished or something. Like those of us that's in this fight for real, we're in it for real, and we can see the people who are really about this work, and we can see the pretenders who are clout chasers, right? And live off of other people's names to bring value to his own channel and platform. Like we do to be the power platform for political education because it's a means to an end, which is why this Friday we are having the reparations rally downtown Atlanta, Georgia, 11 a.m. at the state capitol building. It's going to be packed out there. I'm going to be on Chub Rock radio show Wednesday morning. For those of you who are in the Atlanta area, we're going to do an interview about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, those of us that's really about putting in work, we see people who are really about putting in work. And we see the pretenders. Right. So, I just wanted to call in and give my little 2 cents, give the sister a shout out. I disagree with some of what she said about vaccines and all that stuff, but that's a whole nother.
See, this is another thing I want to say to you. How can and what we do all the time is that's what we do. We disagree before we go and do the research to see if she was right or wrong. So I think you should go and do the research first, because she said that it still have not even been approved yet.
Well, let me say, we had Brother Onk on my show 2 or 3 times. Brother Onk and myself have done the research, and that's just not true.
So you're saying that it has been approved?
Of course,
Lord,
it's been
that
approved.
by the
approved.
FDA.
The Food and Drug Administration is not going to approve
So
or
who
not
approves
approve
it?
anything. Yeah, that's for human consumption. It's not going to do that. That's
So who approves
not right
it? Who approves it?
The Food and Drug Administration. They go through a whole evaluation before they okay anything. Before they okay anything, especially something like a vaccine. But I mean, I don't want to get stuck on that point. I just want to, that's my disagreement with.
I challenge you to show and prove. To show and prove. When one day, probably tomorrow, I'll let you in and show and prove where they have, where they said this was good. Show us.
All right.
I challenge you, brother.
All right.
All right, man. All right.
All right,
peace to you, man. Peace. Hey, I want to ask the Hebrews a question. If there's any Hebrew Israelites in the building, I would like to ask the Hebrews.
So for you. I get up and make it both your titties sticky as fuck. I got a mouth full of Jolly Ranchers.
Jerry.
Keep fucking with me.
Peace and Black Power family. What's your name and where you calling from?
Jerry Hill, of Akron, Ohio.
All right, what's going on?
I was just calling Mechee. On your show today, I'm watching it on YouTube, and that's my girl. I watched her from day one, and I like what you say. I agree with her 100%. I'm a Pisces too, and I've been woken, to see what's going on out here. And what she's saying is so true. We need to come together, as a black community. We do have all these fake people, that's trying to be out here for us. That's not really for the black community. Mm-hmm. So I'm with her. I'm down with her. And I just wanted to call in and say that I'm a subscribe to your show. I like what you do. I see what you do. You're all about the people too. Yes. And that's what we need to come. That's what we need to do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Yeah, Mechee X is the truth, man. Y'all got to stop that. She talked about so-and-so. Brother, everybody talk about everybody on here. It's like y'all don't never want to give the sisters the benefit of the doubt. When a woman stands up and be strong and able to articulate herself and tell you how she feels, that right there intimidate a lot of you Negroes. Because a woman not supposed to have that knowledge. That's what you think. You think a woman don't supposed to be smart. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm Sean, calling from Detroit.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah, my thing. If everybody will know, I'm the mod at Moore's World TV, right? I keep getting blocked, so I ain't even saying nothing or whatever. They just keep blocking me for nothing. But that's besides the point. I'm on topic with this Mechee X or whatever her name is. But the thing that she's been doing, it just don't really add up. It ain't lining up right. And I came to your show. I haven't really been on your show, but I just subscribed and everything. I'm trying to follow you and everything. See what your show brings.
You said she hasn't really. What do you mean?
He's trying to go off.
A lot of stuff. I've been watching her probably for probably 2 months off and on. I don't really get all the notifications. How YouTube do everything. But some of the stuff that she's been saying from a long time ago, like even before she got hooked up with Grandmaster Jay, some of her stories and everything.
He didn't want that
following a little bit of everything she's saying. But then after she got with Grandmaster Jay, it's like her whole energy just went left field or something like. I don't know what happened or what's going on. But then with the Tahaka Bay situation, that right there was like something different too. So I came to your show to try to figure out what's going on. But still, she's doing the same thing. She's not really saying nothing.
Tahaka Bay is a clown. She's saying a lot, brother. What it is you're not listening. So she has said a lot, and you just got to be able to have a nice ear to listen.
Yeah.
And make out what
I
you
gotta,
think. And to Harker,
I gotta
that's like
open my.
a clown show over there. So you can't
I
expect to
told
get no
look.
real knowledge. At one point when he first came out, he was about trying to bring knowledge and information to the people. Now the morals are not even over there like that no more, and he turned into just a exposing channel, want to expose people and shit like that. That's what's going on.
I don't.
You know.
I'm not really seeing it like that. It's just the way people spin it on their own subject on how they want to perceive it. But everything he's been saying though, he ain't just talking. He at least bringing the facts or some type of proof.
He's not
He don't
bringing
just
facts, bro.
jump in front of.
He's not bringing facts. Tahaka said many times about me, I was an agent. That's not facts. So once I seen him say that, I knew he was a liar. So Tahaka ain't bringing no facts. He's a liar, man. He ain't got nothing going on there but foolishness, bro. Nothing but foolishness, brother.
But truthfully, from what I understand,
what you need to be doing is tapping into Lord Abba if you really want that information. Lord Abba's in the chat. You need to click on his channel.
He blocked me.
Well, the only reason why Lord Abba will block you, I'm gonna tell you, the only reason why Lord Abba will block you if you are being rude and disrespectful. He ain't gonna just block you just to block you, brother. So I don't believe that. See, when you know your brothers, you know a brother ain't gonna just block you to block you. He ain't gonna do that. You have to be rude. You have to be disrespectful in order for one of us to block you, brother. That's the truth.
So when I came, that's the truth. That's your truth. That's what you're saying?
Nah, that's the truth. I know
that. Right here on my. Okay, that's the truth. I get blocked for just even laughing, and then they just say I did something wrong, but I can just turn around and look at everybody else laughing. I'm laughing at the same thing they laughing at. Brother, I'm telling you, I'm laughing at the same thing they laughing at, and I get blocked so timed out. I'm like, dang, I can't laugh. So I'm looking like,
so talk to him right now. He's in the chat. Apologize to him right now. Tell him, brother, you apologize
to him. I didn't even do it. How can I apologize to him, man? Okay, I apologize for coming in here to learn of what's going on.
He don't even know who you are, brother. Trust me, he don't even.
Man, he know who I am. Man, he done blocked me so many times. Everybody know why.
He blocked you so many times. You can only block somebody one time unless you make it more channels.
Well, they passing the ball off. I'm trying to tell you, I'm being blocked, brother. I'm not even doing nothing. I'm just here learning. I'm just feeding my brain.
I don't agree with you when you say you're not doing nothing. I ain't buying that. We don't block just to block, brother.
Okay. One thing I did put a cap emoji on there because
there you go. Now you're coming up. Go ahead.
She said she was about to start rapping, brother. Listen. She said she was about to start rapping, and she totally talked her way through that for like almost 5 minutes. If you would have let her, then she spit something out. I thought she was just freestyling, but them wasn't like really like bars. You know that.
Brother,
but I'm not going to try to put on.
Brother, hold on. See, this is what you mean to tell me. Out of everything Mechee X talked about, you upset because she spits. Bro, you can't be serious, brother. You can't be serious. Is that? Hold on. Is that all you wanted to talk about? Everything that she talked about, the prison pipeline, the prison system, and how they treat our children, and all of this, and you're saying you are talking about her rap lyrics, brother, and what she spit. You know that wasn't bars, man. Oh, come on, brother. I got to move forward, brother. I'm not going to block you. Peace, brother. What the hell is going on? Captain Tazariak in the building. Make sure y'all get that Captain Tazariak oils and body whips, butters, slamming. I'm running out, so I got to get mine up again. You already know what it is. A captain. I'm not even going to deal with you, but I'm going to deal with the other Hebrews, the Hebrews that's out there. And I'm going to show and prove why they don't know the Bible and that I am the real Bible scholar when it comes to them. I'm not saying with you, Captain. I'm saying when it comes to them, brother, understand me. They don't know the Bible. And I ain't talking about Zion or Mighty Hebrew or none of them. I'm talking about just Hebrews in general. I'm going to bust that ass. And I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to start going to work on it tomorrow and give the people some real knowledge. Now, I'm going to tell you, Captain, if you jump your ass in here and try to act like, you know, you want to be Captain Saberho, I'm going to have to light the flames to your ass. I'd rather you stay out of it. Just stay back. You my brother, you my captain. Stay back. Let me do this work. Let me put this work in. You know? Don't try to jump in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me put this work in, man. How many of y'all with a show of hands? A show of hands. How many of y'all got that the oil or the body butter or the beard oil? With a show of hands. Put it in the chat, y'all. I want to see if y'all supporting our people. Peace and Black Power, family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Peace and Black Power. This is Greg from Brick City, Newark.
What's going on, Greg?
Great show tonight. I always run through 125th during the spring and summer and greet you, bro. Great show tonight. Q Butter, he and I definitely been working on getting a school over here in Newark, Brick City. Okay. But I just want to make we've been working on it for a minute now. You know,
Brick City used to be hard back in the days, brother. How is it now?
It's pretty much the same in some areas. It mellowed out in some areas, especially downtown Newark area. You know, a lot of gentrification. You know, moving a lot of black businesses. There's actually 2 black businesses in Newark that actually own downtown Newark that actually own the properties. The main bookstore, Source of Knowledge, on Broad Street, and a soul food restaurant a couple of blocks away. But you know, the inner parts, you know, it's pretty much the same. You know, hard as always. But Newark is Newark. You know, we got a lot of history here. But Q and I have been pushing to get a school over here. But great show tonight. But very briefly, Lord Abba and Ankh don't know what they talking about. I spent 11 years working at one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world in their lab animal research department. And if you don't go through that final stage of, you know, testing, or, you know, the human part of the testing, we like to call it, you're not, you know, it's not approved. Not approved at all. And they've been trying to. Yeah, I mean, listen, so 11 years, I had the opportunity to actually watch them spend up to 10 grand for a non-human primate. I was partly responsible for receiving the shipment, whatever the duration of the study was, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years. I was responsible for handling restraint. They put me in charge of what was called primate enrichment, which I had to make sure that the programs that we had met the FDA standard, that these, you know, primates and other, you know, animals that they use were not being tortured and abused. I went even further. I hooked up with the pathology department, histology department, and I actually watched these primates come in from day one, last throughout the duration of the study, go through what's called a necropsy, is where they actually, you know, take the animal, dose them with ketamine, separate all the organs, every single bit of it, every inch of them except the fur. And I actually had the opportunity to even view them through the microscope. And that's just within the research department. That's well before it actually gets any advancement or movements to being tested on humans, you know, whatsoever. So this mess that we're going through, it skipped the entire process. Stage 3, the clinical trial, skipped it completely. And you're absolutely right. That's exactly why the FDA and all of these drug companies would not be held responsible